Andrew Britcher, whether it's going to be an inside-out game or he gets hot from the outside. Leominster's going to have to pay special attention to him tonight. You don't want him to heat up because, they've been shaky when it comes to a supporting cast. Not too many other double-figure scorers in their first 4 games. So I think it's really going to flow through Andrew, and the Leominster defense got to play close attention to him tonight.
Well, radio listeners, you heard it here first. According to Bill Thomas, the 2 names, one on either side to make sure that you pay attention to: Britcher for the Shrewsbury Colonials and Dada for your Leominster Blue Devils. Those are the 2 names we will likely be calling most often.
I got two more quick ones for you. When it comes to Leominster, because they're going to throw everything they can at Dada. When he's covered closely, Alex Moisen stepped up nicely with 12 points in the Algonquin game, and Kevin Viola supported him with 13 in the other game. I don't have it on my thing here, but the last 2 games, when somebody different can step up, it really takes the pressure off the supporting cast.
And we talked about that on the girls' side yesterday. Leominster in their game yesterday against. Did they play Algonquin yesterday? They played Algonquin yesterday. In their game less than 24 hours ago that I have zero recollection of whatsoever at this point in time. Can't imagine why.
The girls.
The girls?
The girls played, yes.
Pardon me, the girls played.
Yeah.
Against Algonquin. We saw that Algonquin was most successful when we saw diversification of point scorers getting into the mix. When you can have people especially come off the bench and contribute to the stat sheet and alleviate some of that pressure on your marquee players, on a player like Dada, that's only going to benefit you in the long run. And so I think you're absolutely right. I think they who diversify their scoring are going to be the most successful unless one person literally just takes over the game. So it'll be very interesting.
Well, if anybody can take over a game, it's Justin Dada.
Yeah. Well, you heard his voice because he butted in. We might even actually invite him back after we take
we need the on-air talent.
Yeah, he waltzes in.
It's a team. It's a team effort around here.
He waltzes in. We're going to take a quick break. We're just going to step aside for 2 minutes. When we come back, I guess we'll let Todd take back over the show. And we're going to have tip-off coming up. 51 seconds remaining here in this JV game. Then it's warm-ups, and then it's the main event of the night. It will be starting a little bit after 7 o'clock, though, tonight. But for right now, we will step aside, and you are listening to the Game of the Week here on the K-Zone, WPKZ AM1280 and 105.3 FM.
And we say welcome back to you, joining us courtside here on the K-Zone for our K-Zone Game of the Week. Our countdown to tip-off rolls on here on AM1280 and 105.3 FM. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. DJ Derek Drown back at Master Control, pushing the buttons, making the magic happen for this winter Game of the Week opener for 2022. It's great to have you along with us here on the K-Zone. And to those of you joining us out on Rivalry Family Media tonight, we say a very good evening to you as you join us inside the gym at Leominster High School as well. Shrewsbury just finished up, although a late, but a victory nonetheless in an exciting JV matchup that just concluded, and it's running about 15 or so minutes over. So those of you that are joining us over on RFM, that's why the slight delay. This game will tip off a little bit later than the announced 7 o'clock start time, but we will have basketball for you here on the K-Zone as well as on RFM, and we're looking forward to this one. It's Shrewsbury and Leominster. Blue Devils come in 3-1 overall. Shrewsbury 1-3 overall coming into action tonight. Both teams fully staffed tonight. Everybody available on both sides as far as student athletes go. For Shrewsbury, head coach Adrian Machado, he's joining us from home tonight as well via Rivalry Family Media. He'll be coaching from the couch this evening. The good news is, although in COVID protocols himself, he and the family are doing very, very well. Had an opportunity to talk to him this afternoon, and that's great news as we come into action tonight, Leominster and Shrewsbury. Bill Thomas, as our RFM audience joins us now, this is an opportunity, first of all, to say hello to them from courtside this evening, but also, Bill Thomas, a first opportunity for you to maybe give them your kind of high points here, give them a little recap and reset as we come into this one. Again, Leominster 3-1 has had a phenomenal year coming into this one. Shrewsbury, a bit of a bumpy start at 1-3. You have a battle of a team that right now is playing a complete game. If you ask Coach Grudgefield, he'd say he's a defensive team that is able to generate offense. Talked to Coach Machado earlier today and was in a situation where, of course, Coach Machado noted that his team is a defensive team. They are defensive specialists in and of themselves, but they would also say, that would be the strength of their team right now, but he would also say they're billed as a three-point team. But if you look at their overall percentages, it's not bearing that out right now. Their offensive production is not keeping pace with their defensive ability, so that's where he's looking for the big improvement tonight. That's where these two teams are at this moment in time.
Yeah, Shrewsbury's been struggling from the floor, and, they've been struggling from the foul line, too. And, you talk to the coach, I think they were 5 for 23 or some ungodly number that, you and I could probably have better percentage playing 21 in the driveway.
I was going to say, it's worth getting this right, Bill Thomas.
He's noticed it. And,
because the number stands out and you bring it up.
It is
so this
abysmal,
was a loss back on Tuesday, December the 21st, on the road at Algonquin. It was a 52-45 loss. They shot from the free throw line 5 of 28.
28. I was even worse than I remembered. 5 of 28.
And the great point that Coach makes, which is the most important part, is that had they gone just simply 11 for 28, they would have won the basketball game.
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
And of course, 11 for 28 is not a great percentage either, but it's a win in that game in that particular situation.
About 40% maybe, and that you wouldn't even be happy with that, but anything is better than 5 for 28.
Indeed.
And I'm guessing that they spent some extra time shooting free throws after that game and whatever practice they've gotten together. Or it could have been some homework. Who knows, But, Shrewsbury's kind of found its way the last couple of games, but really what's happened to Shrewsbury is Andrew Bridge has found his way. He's found his way from outside the three-point arc. He's got 6 of them the last 2 games after not having any of the first 2 games. He's been in double figures both games, a 16 and a 14-point game in a split 1-1 in Shrewsbury's last 2. So what happens with Shrewsbury tonight, I think is going to flow through Andrew Bridge, but he doesn't have a real strong supporting cast. Nobody else has been supporting him with double figures. You got some 6s, 7s, and 8s, but if Lemus is able to shut down Andrew, somebody else has to step up, and nobody has shown the ability to step up on the Shrewsbury side as of yet. Still very early in the season.
Indeed it is. And Bill Thomas, this isn't the only action going on tonight. It's been a weird year to say the least, but all of a sudden things starting to find a little bit more rhythm. We're starting to get back to a little bit more of a normal rhythm in the season, and that means there's other games going on. Let's check the look around the region tonight. There is a big schedule tonight, and it's brought to you by Woodcombe Insurance. Woodcombe has the right coverage at the right price with a local team of insurance pros ready to help. Online at Woodcombe.com. Woodcombe Insurance brings us this look on this Friday night around the region. Hudson travels to St. Bernard's in boys basketball. Continuing with boys basketball, St. Paul on the road in Worcester. They head to the other side of town. They will take on Burncoat. Monty Tech travels to Valley Tech. Assabet Valley Tech is at Worcester Tech. Parker Charter at Bay Path tonight. Nipmuc is at Douglas. Whiteville Christian at Sutton. Eagle Hill School is at Bancroft tonight as well. You also got the crosstown battle in Worcester as Worcester South travels to play Worcester North this evening, and Maine South travels over to Doherty. So the Inter-Worcester Municipal Agreement Day, it's everybody playing your geographic night down in Worcester.
Cut down on the travel.
No doubt about it. In the Midwatch League tonight, Algonquin travels to Fitchburg. Wachusett travels to Brookline. Neshoba is at Groton Dunstable. Oakmont's at Marlborough. Westboro is at North Middlesex. Gardner travels to Murdoch. Quabbin is at Tingsboro. And Trivium is at Bromfield. Maynard is at Clinton. Lunenburg at Littleton. And Narragansett is at West Boylston. Just a few more to go, Bill Thomas. Let's check Southern Worcester County.
Not done yet?
Not done yet.
Take a breath.
is at Quaboag. Tantasqua to David Prouty. Leicester at Southbridge. Millbury at Northbridge. And Uxbridge is at Oxford. That is the sizable schedule of basketball tonight, and we talked about it a little bit on our RFM broadcast last night, Bill Thomas, but as we bring our radio audience kind of up to speed with the way the season's been going on, the thing Kate always points out is that for coaches, they crave continuity. They crave consistency because they know the best thing for student athletes is to create that consistency. You go to school for 6 hours, you go to practice, or you have a little bit of study hall, then you go on to the bus and you travel. Right now, you don't know if you have a team that's going to be able to play. You don't know if school is going to happen on time. You don't know how many players are going to be there. If there's a bus available. And then if you get everything together and if things happen to work out, then unfortunately your coach gets exposed, and all of a sudden now you're without a head coach. And Shrewsbury tonight with Coach Adrian Machado on the sideline, not the only one. Talked about it a little bit ago. Leominster's head coach Rusty Frederick was out last week. St. Paul's Nick D'Andrea was out. He was part of that game that we were covering. And so it's just been one of those things. It's been a weird year. So, a little bit of a rhythm, a little bit of consistency. Players are really looking forward to that. So are coaching staffs.
Yeah, and you don't know your opponent's status a lot of times, too, until the day of the game. So, it's hard to, a lot of the planning, you can go through your routines, but it's really hard to game plan because you're not sure who you're going to have, who you're going to be playing, and what the circumstances are going to be. I think all of the teams have done a great job in this last 14 to 16 months that the school sports have been dealing with this overall situation. But it continues, but modify and adapt.
And modify and adapt is not just Bill Thomas's favorite phrase. It really is the only way to go about handling things at this point in time. And Billy, to your point, and I think this is a really great one as well, you get jacked up, right? You get ready to go, players go through all those emotions, then all of a sudden you find out there is no game.
No game.
So how many times can you go through and build up that emotion, build up that adrenaline at that nice, slow, steady peak so that you hit that peak at 7 o'clock when the game goes to start, and then there is no basketball game. You find out somewhere noon, 1 o'clock each day.
And then practice only has so much value. You're like, oh, well, the games keep up. I'll see you tomorrow for practice. Kind of a letdown because you're really practicing to play the games. You're not just practicing for more practice. But, I'm sure the schools will get through it. Everybody's doing a great job up to this point, doing what they have to do. And, I'm looking forward to a great basketball game nonetheless.
And that's what we're looking forward to here inside the gym tonight. It's the K-Zone Game of the Week with our partners at RFM. We're excited to have you along with us. The Game of the Week brought to you by Bolton Orchards. Get fresh every day in Bolton at the junctions of Route 110 and 117. Take the short drive today. We've got so much more to come. We'll have the starting lineups for you when we continue. It's the K-Zone Game of the Week here on AM1280 and 105.3 FM WPKZ. Folks, we're continuing with you here on RFM tonight. Great to have you along with us. Remember, anytime radio steps away, we'll continue on with you in bonus coverage, just like we do when we're with our partners at Leominster TV, who we can welcome them joining us tonight as well here to our courtside broadcast position. It is just one busy night all around. Great to have you with us, and we're looking forward to what will be an exciting matchup between Leominster and Shrewsbury. We got the starting lineups coming up. When we join, of course, the radio back, they'll get to hear the starting lineups. You'll get to hear them with them as well. Then you'll be with us for, of course, starting lineups and introductions here inside the building as well. And then we'll have tip-off for everybody when we're all on the same page, running again just a few minutes later than normal due to, of course, a junior varsity game that ran over and likely, Kate, started a little later than perhaps they had originally intended as well. As you look out on the floor right now, you see Shrewsbury's team going through their warm-up activities. Bill Thomas giving you a look at both sides. Saw Leominster for a little while him and I were talking, and then of course came over and took a look at Shrewsbury as they go through their warm-up activities. And Kate, we were talking about players, of course, craving consistency, craving continuity, craving rhythm. Maybe tonight, we went through the games that are going to be played tonight. There's a large schedule. Maybe we're finally getting to that place.
That is certainly the hope. Numbers are trending in the correct direction in Massachusetts. As much as Billy loves those numbers, he loves the numbers. Tell me the numbers, Kate.
What numbers?
So numbers are trending in the correct direction. You're starting to see a little bit more regularity relative to the scheduled games going off without a hitch. The only thing that I get a little bit concerned with now is that you have that 2 to 3 games a week gauntlet that's going to start happening here in the next couple of weeks in order to make sure games get in. Because the more games you have, in a lot of cases, that's going to behoove you for your math going into the playoffs.
Indeed. Stand by here on RFM Radio. Rejoins us in a moment. Back courtside here on the K-Zone Game of the Week. That scheduled 7 o'clock tip-off time has come and gone. That's it in our rearview mirror.
I crushed the starting lineups, by the way. I was having way too much fun meeting with all my friends over there that
I could tell.
Really, I missed half the starters. Missed half
little
the starting
Shrewsbury
lineup.
connection, reminiscing.
I was gonna say reminiscing a little bit over there
with
as
all
well.
my friends.
Indeed.
And then forgot to get half the starters.
But we got them. That's
Make 'em up.
the good news. And we can bring them to you here on the K-Zone and with our partners over at RFM and Leominster TV
My bad.
as well. Starting lineups tonight brought to you by Builders Surplus, a great selection of first quality building materials at prices you will like online at builders-surplus.com. You know what you need. Get it at Builders Surplus. For less. For Shrewsbury tonight, the starting 5 that'll be run out there by Coach Adrian Machado. It's a near Vetsa Curry and a B Vetsa Curry. A.J. Rosso, Dennis McNamara, and Andrew Britcher. For Leominster, Kevin Viola, Warren Asias, Justin Dada, Dylan Carr, and Chase Hawes. Those are your starting 5 on both sides tonight. And we're going to step aside here on the K-Zone. One more break. And when we come back, it's tip-off here inside the gym at Leominster High School. It's Blue Devils and Colonials, Leominster and Shrewsbury. When we come back on the K-Zone Game of the Week here on WPKZ.
Good evening, fans, and welcome back to basketball. Welcome to the gym at Leominster High School for tonight's boys basketball matchup, featuring the Shrewsbury Colonials and your Leominster High School Blue Devils. As a reminder, fans, masks are mandatory at all indoor events under the statewide mandate of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, MIAA, and the local administration. Fans are asked to wear their masks over their nose and under their chins at all times. Thank you for your cooperation. Tonight's event is sanctioned by the MIAA and the Midland Wachusett League. Fans are reminded to positively support student athletes, coaches, and officials. Be loud, be proud, be positive. Now, let's meet tonight's starting lineups, beginning with the visiting Shrewsbury Colonials. Our senior, number 1, Anir Vetakori. Our senior, number 3, Abi Vetakori. Our senior, number 5, Dennis McNamara. Our senior, number 20, Andrew Britcher. And a junior, number 24, Jason Nickerson. The Colonials are coached by Adrian Machado, Marcus Watson, Jerry Arasaki, and Lee Valentines. And now, let's meet your Leominster High School Blue Devils. At guard, a senior, number 4, Kevin Viola. At forward, a for his 6th season, assisted by Justin Dada and John Portillo. Fans are asked now to please rise and remove your caps as together we honor America and those who defend our freedom with the flag of our national anthem.
And with that, the pregame festivities are over here inside the gym at Leominster High School. And we welcome all 3 of our broadcast partners to this one. It's the K-Zone Game of the Week here on AM1280 and 105.3 FM and WPKZ stream. Live video stream tonight with our partners at Rivalry Family Media. Great to have you along with us. Facebook.com/Media Rivalry for that action. And in tape delay, we welcome those of you joining us on Leominster TV tonight. Comcast, Verizon, Leominster.tv for that action as well. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and great to have all of you wherever you are and wherever you join us from tonight for Leominster and Shrewsbury at our courtside broadcast position. Bill Thomas, we've had a number of minutes to build it up, but here we go. We're ready for the opening tip.
Yeah, I think whichever team gets off to a fast start tonight is going to carry it through. You know, Leominster's done a good job of that. We'll have to see if they can continue that.
Leominster will attack left to right here in the first half of action. Colonials will attack right to left. Leominster wearing the home white tops, white bottoms, trimmed in royal blue and black. The royal blue numerals front and back trimmed in black. Blue Devils frame the numerals on the front of the jersey. Ball is up, tap is won and controlled by Jason Nickerson, who tapped it on, found McNamara, finished at the rim, and the Colonials are 7 seconds into this one and up 2-0.
It looked like a set play right there off of that tap. Great execution.
Absolutely they did. Colonials go into a 2-3 defense with man-to-man principles, wearing the navy blue tops, navy blue bottoms, Vegas gold accents front and back on the numerals, as well as at the sides of the shorts and the jerseys. Rebound ripped down by Nickerson, stripped from behind. The action moves on. Feed to the inside. It's Dada with the lay-in. Good.
Dada knows what to do when he gets near the basket. He's not a three-point specialist. He gets his points around 8 to 10 feet from the basket.
Wide open look. It was Abby Vetakuri not able to connect on the 3 from the left. We're knotted at 2. 7:10 to play here in the first quarter. Leominster will slow the action down now in the front court. Getting a good look. It's Carr. Popped the 3 from the left. It was missed long. Haas with the rebound. Will send it back to the top of the key for Dada. And Leominster going with these cross-court passes. Eventually sets up another 3 in the corner. And Alex Moisen rattles a 3 home. 5-2 Leominster. 6:48 to play here in the first.
Good to see Alex on the board early. He's been a good supporting cast member for what Dada's been able to do the last couple of games.
A pair of twins in this lineup tonight for the Colonials. It's the Vetakuri twins. Anir wears 1, Abi wears 3. In the corner, this is Anir. Working his way back out toward the timeline. Drops it off to Abi Vetakuri. Ball is deflected out of bounds to the near side off Carr. Colonials keep the basketball, 6 to shoot.
Pace is quick here in the early going on
Yes,
both
it is.
sides.
That opening tap, Kate, and that initial basket certainly opened things up with a
crisp.
bang. Deep 3 attempt there for Anir. Got glass, but no reset. Leominster controls the rebound, and Dada gets bumped off the basketball, crossing the timeline from left to right. Whistle and a foul called. Leominster will have the inbound at about 3/4 court, their half to our right.
that on a near Vetakuri. That's his first team first.
Bounce to the low block is picked there by Nickerson, and the outlet works its way up floor in the hands of Britcher.
One thing the Leominster's got to do is limit those turnovers. Can't give up free possessions.
Britcher stands at the half circle, drives to the foul line, then gives it up for McNamara. Looks to the inside for Nickerson. It hit the rim. Follow up McNamara, and he finishes at the rim. Dennis McNamara this week signed his national letter of intent to run cross country at Loyola University. He is quick up and down the floor. Coach Adrian Machado said of McNamara, you're going to love watching him play. He is the type of selfless basketball player that is a hallmark in high school basketball. Leominster in their half-court offense. Ball was possessed out of bounds by Haas, and the ball will go back to the Colonials. Maybe being a little too choosy on that half-court possession.
A lot of outside passing around the perimeter, not the way to get it done.
5.5 to play here in the first quarter. Leominster nursing a 5-4 lead. Vetakuri, kick out, finds Britcher. 3 from the right, doesn't go. Run down by McNamara. Sets up a Vetakuri 3 from the left. That's wide of the mark. Out of play. Britcher thought Kate about giving chase.
And Bill Thomas, we've seen on both sides of the ball multiple shots that can't even be called shots. They're nowhere near the rim in a lot of cases. Todd's been calling them rebounds eventually, but shot clock has had to go off because they're not making the rim.
And the shot selection hasn't been all that great.
Picked in transition. McNamara grabs it back for the Colonials. Leominster with another error in transition. He gets it back from Vetakuri, slashes the lane to the right, lays it in, and good.
Back-to-back turnovers.
Right down floor, Leominster goes. Carr not able to finish at the rim.
Missing a
Snap
layup.
it back down floor. Vetakuri drops it for McNamara, lays it in and good. And quickly, it's 8-5 Colonials. Timeout on the floor. Timeout, Coach Crutchfield.
Bill Thomas, I've got a question for you. All 8 of Shrewsbury's points have come at the hand of McNamara.
McNamara. Well, I tell you, Richard needed some supporting cast, and we haven't seen him wake up yet. We'll have to see once he comes alive how that affects the offense.
Indeed. 4:39 to play here in the first quarter. Shrewsbury an 8-6 lead, excuse me, an 8-5 lead. And that quick back-to-back baskets on the pick, moving up and down the floor, forced the situation where Coach Kevin Crutchfield has to spend a timeout for Leominster.
Early turnovers, too. Back-to-back turnovers. Shrewsbury's only to convert on one of those, but you can't give up extra possessions like that, and it leads to easy layups, and that's exactly what Shrewsbury did coming up the floor with that turnover.
Action here on the K-Zone brought to you by Central Communication Systems. The experts at Central Communication Systems are the key provider for thousands of businesses around New England since 1991. Learn more at central-inc.com.
I'm sure Coach Crutchfield telling the Leominster players, settle down a little bit. Let's not get so chaotic. You know, they're facing a zone. You got to be patient with the zone. Work the cuts, work the baseline. Try to get behind that zone. We'll have to see what kind of offensive philosophy Leominster, uses coming up the court with this possession.
Coming out of the Blue Devil timeout, Alex Moyson, who got the start tonight. There was an amendment to the starting lineup. We got a little bit of confusion when the starters came over here to the near side. So Moyson had got the start. Leominster's got their starting 5 out on the floor. So it was Moyson, Asias, Dada, Carr, and Haas, the starting 5 for Leominster. Great find by Asias. Comes to the baseline for Carr. No finish at the rim. Moyson can't bring down the rebound, and it's Vetakuri who comes away with it.
Carr 0 for 2 on layups. Got to convert those.
4 1/4 left here in the first quarter. McNamara spins at the foul line, lost the handle. Asias sticks a fork in it, drives it down floor left to right. It rattles around the rim and it will not fall. But Asias was fouled in the act of shooting. 2 shots coming up for Leominster.
Nice job being aggressive, taking it right to the hoop there.
4:05 to play here in the first, an 8-5 lead for the Colonials. Leominster's Warren Asias at the line.
Bridger picks up his first team second for the Colonials in the first half.
And the first one will go down. Leominster's first points, Kate, since the opening flurry there, probably about 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Just from Moyson and Dada, now Asias contributing too.
Second opportunity on the possession. And Asias, that one rattles 3/4 down and ends up falling out to the right, will not go. Leominster still trails by 2 halfway through this first quarter. Vetakuri tries to find McNamara, wasn't looking. Viola tried to grab the loose ball. Colonials are able to settle it half court to the left. This is Britcher. Britcher drives on Dada, kick, corner, up near Vetakuri, 3, and hits. 11-6 Colonials, 3.5 to play here in the first quarter. And they're showing a stretched man immediately off that made basket.
Jump right back into that zone, though.
Yep, half court, 2-3 they're showing right now. Leominster able to pass around the perimeter, but not finding a lot of room inside for easy baskets. McNamara got his fingertips on that one as Leominster continues with these cross-court skips. 5 to shoot, Asias drives the lane, and he walked with it first. Traveling violation. Coach Grudgefield not happy, and the official amends the call to a double dribble. And his point was basically, if you didn't know why you were calling the foul, why blow the whistle in the first place?
I agree 100%.
Seemed a little scrambled there.
That's going to lead to some discussions later in the game, I'm afraid of.
Coach Grudgefield still getting his money's worth, chewing on the official in front of his bench.
They're just
Official's not even watching the game.
They're just making friends.
Conversation continues. The Vetakuris change place. This is a B for a 3. That one rattles out. Tip kept alive by Nickerson. McNamara in no man's land. Got a shot up from a tough angle. Then there's a foul on the rebounding action. And the ball will go back to Leominster. 2:48 to play in the first quarter. And the Colonials with a 5-point lead at 11-6.
Flurry of action back and forth. Right now, Shrewsbury out rebounding the Blue Devils quite handily. They don't appear to have a significant size advantage, but they are scrappy in the lane.
Indeed they are. 2:40 to play here in the first quarter. Leominster takes the ball from left to right. Settle half court to the right. Dada, deep and away from the rim. He'll drop it off for Viola. Catch and replace going to the left. Drop it to the low block. It's Haas. Up and under he goes. Got it up on the rim. Friendly iron gets it to fall.
Must have been listening. You got to run that baseline. You're going to get behind that zone. Get him looking the other way. Exactly what he did right there.
And right
nice
back
drive.
down the floor. The lay-in was good for Rosso.
No hesitation there. Left side of the basket, too. Not the easiest place.
In transition,
There we
Dada
go.
right back down the floor will lay it in.
That's Dada's game. Get out from the other side of that three-point arc and get close to the basket.
13-10, 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. If you wait just a moment, and your head will snap when the ball goes from one side of the floor to the other. This is Vetakuri. Drops it off for Britcher. Britcher over his head, working on Haas. Comes to the near side, finds. This is AJ Rosso. Again, got stripped by Asias. Nickerson goes back up with a loose ball. He gets fouled by Asias. 2 shots coming up for Nickerson.
A little scramble there. Shrewsbury fortunate to end up with foul shots because shot clock was about to expire on there, down to about 5 seconds with real no plan on where that basketball was headed.
Coach Machado said of A.J. Rosso, who had the score on the last drive, he's the kind of player that can score from anywhere on the floor, all 3 levels. He can score in close, he can shoot from the mid-range, he's got the deep ball as well. He is the most complete basketball player on this squad, says Coach Machado.
Yeah, and we've seen a number of missed layups, not just in this game, but in this game already. But to come in from the left side just makes it that little extra tougher, and converted that last possession very nicely.
First one goes for Nickerson. Second one in his hand and on the way. Banked home.
Gets backboard.
Indeed. 15-10 Shrewsbury's lead. 98 seconds left here in a fast-moving first quarter. Full court pressure from the Colonials. Leominster struggling to get it across half. Viola will get it. Now wide open to the rim. He guns it, finds Haas, finishes at the rim.
Nice job. Way to break the press and look up court really quick. Find that open man.
Leominster within 3 at 15-12. 1:18 to play here in the first quarter. Colonials, half court left. Britcher steps up 3. Front rim won't go. Battle for the rebound. It's 2 Colonials there. This is Rosso with a turnaround in the lane and floats it good.
I'll jump 3 Blue Devils there to put that offensive rebound back in.
Yeah, that was pretty, and had the soft touch around the rim as well.
Right now around that basket, Shrewsbury seeming to be elevating at least 6 inches above any Leominster Blue Devil in the area.
Dada pulls the trigger on a 3 from the left side. Doesn't go, but the rebound for Haas. Tries to roll it out to Viola. It's picked by McNamara. Gets ahead of the break. Bothered from behind by Viola, and Dada ends up with the loose basketball. Teams exchange turnovers. Dada finds Asias down the floor. He gets whacked. No call. The ball is taken out of his hands, out of bounds. Leominster keeps the basketball with 24 to shoot.
Nice job. Cleaned out there by Monde. Is that how you pronounce his name? Monde? And nice job coming across over the block.
Talking to Bill Thomas.
Yes,
Hamidi.
yes, Hamini.
In the corner. It's Viola, who hits a three.
That's why I had him in the starting lineup.
I was watching Hamini in pregame. He's a leaper, too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him attack the rim at some point tonight.
17-15, Shrewsbury's lead. 20 seconds left here in the first quarter. 17, make it 15 on the shot clock, but a 2-second differential. Inside drive, up and under. It's Hamidi from a very tough angle at the baseline, able to bank it in.
Nice reverse layup there.
5 seconds left here, shot clock off. Now 3. Dada gave it up at the midcourt, finds Hawes. A 3 at the buzzer is wide to the left. 1 quarter in the books here from inside the gym at Leominster High School. Shrewsbury 19 and Leominster 15. What do you mean they've only played 5 games? You wouldn't know it watching these two teams.
I tell you, a lot of energy, fresh legs, and Shrewsbury came to play tonight. They got off to this early start. We'll have to see how Leominster can adjust and battle back here.
More action to come through 1 quarter here inside the gym at Leominster High School. It's Shrewsbury 19 and Leominster 15. A break and we're back with more. This is the game of the week on the K-Zone. Bonus coverage continues for those of you joining us on Leominster TV and Rivalry Family Media this evening. Action coming up here next week. We've got all sorts of fun coming up here on RFM next week. Add one to the calendar. That's Wednesday, January the 19th, 6:45 the pregame here on RFM. 7 o'clock the tip-off for Leominster and Burlington in boys basketball action. And then the week wraps up with a little more action. Friday, January the 21st, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock the tip. Action on RFM for Leominster and Wachusett. That game will also be a K-Zone game of the week as well. So 2 for 1 next week, Bill Thomas, on a short week after the holiday on Monday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Get back into our own routine of 2 games a week and get some regularity to our schedule. As we get deeper into it and into January and February. Looking forward to it. I heard an announcement the Garden's going to participate in the basketball playoffs in some fashion. So, teams are really playing for the spotlight, and, a lot of great basketball to come.
Whole season still to unfold. A lot of action between here and, of course, the Central Mass Athletic Directors Tournament coming in February. Second quarter action begins. Leominster possesses from left to right. This is Viola. Floresius.
A lot of standing around the perimeter.
Spin to the foul line, feed to the near side. Asias, jump stop, elevates, shot, will not go. Rebound brought down by Vetakuri as we welcome you back inside Leominster High School, inside the gymnasium here. 30 seconds gone by here in the second quarter. Great to have you with us here on the K-Zone game of the week. It's 19-15, Shrewsbury with the lead. No baskets since we've started the second quarter. That one gets tipped out of bounds into the Leominster bench. Colonials keep with 18 to shoot. Over his head, Rosso will inbound for Britcher. Now replace a near Vetakuri. 3 from straight away. Front rim won't go, and the ball will travel out of play as Terrence McCormick watches it roll out. Leominster will get the basketball. 7:15 to play here in the second quarter. Inbounding from the left baseline, going left to right. Viola calling signals as he finds himself at the top of the key. He will drop this one off for Dada. Left-hand dribble, drive the lane, lay it in and good.
Second basket using that technique there on that left side. Good job with the left hand for Dada.
And Kate, what we know from the first quarter, Leominster did not have a lot of scoring from their star offensive player, Justin Dada.
4 points in the first quarter for Dada.
That is an awfully quiet first quarter. Vetakuri steps back toward the timeline, now drops it off for Britcher, half court left. Come to the near side. Hamadi has it poked away from Moisen. It makes its way over to Rosso. Into the corner. Jab step twice for Vetakuri. 3 to shoot. Throws up the 3. Hits the rim on a line drive. The loose ball comes back to Rosso. Drive and miss. Hamadi the follow-up. He misses. 5th opportunity on the possession. Is tipped away. And Leominster's going the other way with Asias in transition.
Those Hamadi above everybody, though. He's got great leaping ability.
And that is a Colonial hallmark, Bill Thomas. They play above the rim.
His hands were just above everybody. You could see him aggressively going for that.
Viola gets an open opportunity for 3. That one rattles out, and the rebound ripped down strongly by Rosso. He finds in transition Britcher, floats it up at the rim. Nobody able to follow on. Hamadi will get the rebound in the paint, up over 3 Blue Devils, and will finish They make it a 21-17 Shrewsbury lead. 5:48 to play here in the second quarter.
Bill Thomas, although Hamadi only has 4 points, he has been absolutely integral
And,
for Shrewsbury's rebounding.
I was just going to make a comment. He's done all the dirty work, getting those offensive rebounds, had a nice block down here, and he's all over the court, making his presence felt for sure, Kate.
Kick on the inside will reset the shot clock. A fresh 30 for Leominster. 5:42 to play here in the second quarter. 21-17. Leominster playing chase right now. McCormick over his head. Looking for an inbound, and that's a 5-second violation.
That was about a 10-second
I was going to say
violation.
the official was ready to blow the whistle, but he was going to pass the ball, so he waited the extra 2 beats, and he still was holding it. Whistle goes off, 5-second violation. That's an unforced error.
You can't complain. Usually 5 means 7, and that was all of 7, if not even more.
Good coverage for the Colonials, Bill Thomas, but nobody really moved to get open. Everybody looked idle on the floor. Back down floor. This is Hamadi. Throws back for Cruz. Cruz slashes the lane. Coach Grudgefield wanted to travel. The official at the baseline says no possession, that he lost the basketball. Rolls out of play. Last touch by the Colonials, and it's Leominster ball. Coach Grudgefield not happy with the inconsistency of the travel call. Official will trot on by in transition left to right with Leominster with the basketball and say something to Coach Grudgefield as Leominster settles half court to the right. Hawes flashes, baseline, gets it up on the rim. That one won't go. Rebound brought down by Carr. Asias, jump stop between 2, gets swatted by Nickerson. Loose ball heads out of play. They say last touched off a Colonial. Leominster will keep the basketball. They're letting them play inside tonight. 4 combined fouls to the 5:02 mark here of the second quarter. Feels like Big East basketball here inside the gym at Leominster High School.
See us going with the bunny hop on that one.
Indeed. McNamara overdrove the lane in transition, kicked it back for Cruz, drives, fouled. 2 shots coming up for Cruz at the line. K-Zone Game of the Week brought to you by Colonial Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. The team at Colonial Hudson is here to make your new or used car purchase or lease stress-free. Online at colonialdodgechryslerjeep.com.
Difficulty here with that foul. Blue Devils only have 2, but both of them are Warren Asias.
First one will fall for Cruz. Hamadi will check out. Curry will take the lane spot to the right. Two of 2 on the trip for Cruz. 23-17 under the 5-minute mark here in the second quarter. Hawes sends it back to the top of the key. Finds Viola. Viola to Dada. Leominster playing catch at the top of the key. Now Viola slashes into the lane, floats it short. Moisen catches, put back. That doesn't go. Rebound for the Colonials. Another empty possession for Leominster. 23-17 is the Colonial lead. 4:25 mark of the second quarter and counting. Spin, hand up. This is McNamara. McNamara was bothered, then stripped. Viola dribbled it away from him. He'll take it in transition from left to right. Little jab step. Dada through the lane, tried the underhand feed for Carr. It got deflected by Nickerson out of play. And Leominster will keep the basketball offensive end right, 24 to shoot.
Leominster lucky there. Dada out of control in the lane, but fortunately got a hand on a Shrewsbury player did.
To the baseline, fine. This is Carr. Carr finds a flashing Dada into a double team. Count the basket and a foul.
Dada should just flash the basket all night and wait for those passes because he's definitely got the cut moves. And usually it's from the weak side, opposite side where the ball is. Look for him every time. He knows when to go to the basket.
Caught him napping on the cut to the lane there, Bill Thomas. The 2 players in the paint were looking to that left side of the floor, and he came in from the right.
The trick is when you pass the ball to that strong side, as soon as everybody turns their head, you got to flash in there from that weak side before they get back to react, whether run the baseline or run that weak side of the lane. You got to attack the basket. When the ball swung to the opposite direction, get him looking that way.
3-point play not converted. Dada misses the follow-on, but the rebound bounces all the way out to Hawes at the half circle. So under the 4-minute mark here in the second quarter, and Leominster with a 2-for-1 opportunity, trailing 23-19 to Shrewsbury. Moisen, the turnaround fade from the left doesn't go. Rebound ripped down by Rosso.
Part of the difficulty, one of the few multiple opportunities on an offensive possession that the Blue Devils have had. Right now,
total agreement there, Kate.
Shrewsbury controlling the pace and time of possession.
They certainly look like the team that came in at 3-1 as opposed to the 1-3 mark that they had coming into this one.
I think you're going to see Coach Crutchfield lose his top at halftime.
At some point, he's going to want to see a better effort from his 3-1 team. Strip going down the lane. This is Carr, feeds Haas, lost his feet, but got it to Dada, who finished at the rim.
You know, he knew Dada was over there on the right side. He tried everything he could to get it to him. Lucky to maintain control there. Great job.
Leominster within 2 at 23-21, 3:10 mark here of the second quarter. Drive into the corner. Get out of here, says Viola. Comes in from behind and swats it away out of the hands of Rosso cleanly. Giving up about 1.5 feet was Viola, and he followed in and took it out, and they whistled the play for a foul.
Look clean.
That was a great effort by Viola. Looked like he picked it clean, but it's 2 shots nonetheless coming from the line for Rosso.
Tough to make that clean block, though, when you're coming from the back. Usually they're going to get you with a push or, you know, on the hand, but still looked like a great play.
Gotta love the hustle play of the little guy getting in among the trees. 0 of 2 on the trip for that one, and the Colonials lose possession with a Dada rebound as we go under the 3-minute mark here in the second quarter.
Rosso lucky on that one. He didn't get it over the back.
Moisen gets an open look at 3. It does not go. The rebound is for Haas. Pivots across the baseline, and he is out of play and dejected. Out of bounds, the whistle. Ball back to the Colonials.
Little chaotic on the Leominster end there.
Subs into the basketball game, checking in here for the Colonials, and Coach Marcus Watson, who's patrolling the bench tonight for the Colonials, former St. Peter Marian head coach, filling in for head coach Adrian Machado. If you weren't with us off the top tonight, Coach Machado at home in what we have dubbed the COVID cave, as he is in COVID protocol tonight.
Unforced error right there.
In transition, lost the basketball. Back to Leominster. They've got to convert this opportunity, Bill Thomas.
Yeah, 2 turnovers last time. 2 times Shrewsbury down the court. Leominster's got to get something out of this.
Haas, open 3 from the left. Too strong, out of play. They say a Colonial got it on the rebounding action, and the point is Leominster keeps.
Got to be a little more patient than that. The Steph Curry threes are not the way to get back in this game.
2:34 to play here in the second. A 2-point lead for Shrewsbury. Moisen, jump stop, pops the 2, doesn't go. Rebound was tipped. Leominster gets another opportunity. Viola waits for the defense to come to him, was bothered on the 3-point attempt from the left. It doesn't go, and the rebound is down for Hamadi. An opportunity to get the payoff. He got the feed from McNamara. Kicks it back out for Cruz. Now top of the key. Drive. It's Britcher. Kick back for McNamara again. Foul line extended. And then walked with it on the slash down the lane to the left. A little bit of contact there inside. Kate slowed things down.
Looking for a hack. He didn't get it.
And a timeout taken on the floor. Bill Thomas, that come from the Colonial bench?
I'm not sure where that came from, but it might have. Maybe just to talk things over here.
2:09.
Both sides are out of control in the offensive end, so time to settle things down.
2:09 to play here in the second quarter. It's 23-21, Shrewsbury's lead here inside the gym at Leominster High School tonight. It's been a treat. Coming up at halftime, Kate's got your first half recap. We'll go over all the pertinent stats and what has been an exciting first half of action. That's coming up about 2:09 game time from now. Game of the week here on the K-Zone, brought to you by Great Road Farm and Garden. Get your gardening needs met locally at Great Road Farm and Garden on Great Road in Littleton. K-Zone Game of the Week also brought to you by ROI Office Furniture and Systems, Sterling Rare Coin, Tom's Automotive, High Country Workwear, and Tariku Tractor. We thank you all so very much for your support of the K-Zone Game of the Week. Back once again. It was on hiatus, Bill Thomas, not just because, of course, we were waiting coming out of football season and into the new year, but last year the Game of the Week was on hiatus, period, end of discussion.
Didn't know
as,
if
of
we were
course,
going to
the
have any
winter
games.
season was not going to happen.
Got some drama going on while you guys been talking.
Well, Kate Robbins, our intrepid reporter's got some drama. What do you got, Kate?
Shrewsbury Colonial parents would like the mask mandate to be enforced on the Leominster Blue Devil players, and the official not happy about it.
And that has, of course, been the big discussion. Wow. The requirement says you must wear it. If you look across the floor at Leominster's 5 players, they're all, quote-unquote, wearing masks in that they're strapped over their ears, but the masks are across their chins looking like chin straps as Dada drives the lane and lays it in and good.
3 for 3 from that left side of the lane for Dada. Just camp out over there and let him swing the ball there.
And 5 for 5 on chin strap masks. 23 all ball, 1:48 to play here in the second quarter. The drive down the lane does not fall for Rosso, and the rebound inside. It's Dada up floor, trying to find Hamadi. Hamadi with the pick. Then Dada tips it into the bench right here in front of us on the near sideline.
The drama continues. We now have parents arguing about the mask mandate from the two different teams behind me.
And of course, if you were with us earlier yesterday on the broadcast, MIAA put out a very clear clarification. They are staying with the DESE. That's, of course, the overarching authority of all things school-related in the state of Massachusetts. That mask mandate has been extended by the DESE to February 28th. The MIAA's announcement yesterday clarifying a basketball committee recommendation was that they maintain a mask mandate for all players, coaches, and officials in competition.
This just gets funner and funner.
I was going to say, why not add a little drama? The game's not good enough. Let's come up with a second side plot. Leominster with the rebound in transition. They got it half court to the right. 1:05 before halftime. This is Carr. Come to the near side for Dada. We're tied at 23. Dada with the dribble and 10 to shoot as we go under a minute here in the second quarter. Ball's deflected over to Haas. Deflected back up to Dada. Now 3 to shoot. Viola will fire it up at the shot clock buzzer. He'll miss everything, and it's a shot clock violation, and the ball will go back to Shrewsbury. And I think the part that is most distressing, if you're talking to Coach Crutchfield, would be there's really no explanation. The defense wasn't that tight.
There was no defense. They were just playing catch on the outside of the arc, and some hands up caused some errant passes, but very easy defense, but no offense to speak of on that possession.
We talked about effective aggressiveness being the thing you're looking for. There isn't even aggressiveness, let alone effective aggressiveness right now wearing the blue and white.
Bill Thomas, one of the things I have been a little bit surprised by, you mentioned Britcher's name for Shrewsbury before the game to look out for as a key to this one. No points for
Quiet,
Britcher.
very quiet. Yes, Kate, I'm surprised myself.
McNamara lost the handle on that one, and it almost went through the hoop for him. Meanwhile, it goes to Vetakuri, drives the lane. No call as he loses the basketball, and that's a shot clock violation. Everybody kind of looked around, but that's the different sounding horn that indicates an end of a possession, and the shot clock will be off at halftime. 16 8/10 left here in the second quarter. Leominster unpressured as they come across the timeline. Hawes with 8 seconds to the half. Now 7. Down to the low block Carr. Step back for 2. Short on the rim. Rebound to Vetakuri. Guns it baseball style down floor. He misses the backboard, and we find ourselves at halftime. Exactly where we began. Tied between Leominster and Shrewsbury tonight. Leominster 23 and Shrewsbury 23 here at halftime on the K-Zone Game of the Week.
Not a very good quarter offensively for each team. Some quick math tells me Leominster won that quarter 8-4. Nothing to brag about when it comes to offensive output from either team in that second quarter.
Athletic Director Dave Palazzi, I believe, just gave away a car. Not exactly. I believe there was a lost key, and they found the owner of said key as well. K-Zone Game of the Week brought to you by Liberty Supply Inc. Liberty Supply Incorporated, service the way it used to be. Halftime score here on our first game of the week of 2022. It's Leominster 23 and Shrewsbury 23 here at the half inside the gym at Leominster High School. We're going to step aside, a break, and we're back with more halftime show coming up next. This is the K-Zone Game of the Week here on WPKZ. Halftime here inside the gym at Leominster High School, knotted at 23. Leominster and Shrewsbury all tied up through one half of action here on the K-Zone Game of the Week. And joining us here on RFM as well, great to have you along with us. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, DJ Derek Drown back at Master Control. Bradley Bedard here for Leominster TV as well tonight. We've got all your bases covered. You pick your favorite. That's where you get to spend the night tonight and be a part of this one. Halftime show brought to you by Marigal Medical, a physical medicine clinic in Leominster, providing care and treatment to patients of all ages. Online at marigalmedical.com. Let's try that again. A physical medicine clinic in Leominster, providing care and treatment to the patients of all ages. Online at marigalmedical.com. Marigal Medical at the half. 23 all Leominster and Shrewsbury here inside the gym at Leominster High School. Kate's got your first half stats coming up in a moment, but first, we remind you, K-Zone Game of the Week comes your way throughout the rest of the winter season. Next action here on the K-Zone Game of the Week is next Friday night. That is January the 21st. It's another Mid-Wach Boys Basketball battle, Leominster and Wachusett here inside the gym at Leominster High School. Tip-off at 7 o'clock here on the K-Zone. Countdown to tip-off 6:35 next Friday night. Looking forward to having you for that one on these very same locations, led by the K-Zone AM1280 and 105.3 FM. Kate's first half stats brought to you by ClearPath for Veterans New England by Northeast Insurance. ClearPath for Veterans supports families with connections to the latest in wellness options. We owe it to them to do our part. Donate now at clearpathne.org. This message brought to you by Northeast Insurance Agency. Kate, your first half stats brought to you by ClearPath for Veterans New England, supported by Northeast Insurance Agency.
All right, let's first take a look at the visiting Colonial side of the ball. Team totals first. Right now, everything's square. 23 all on both sides is your score right now. 17 rebounds, 11 turnovers for the Colonials as a team. They've shot 4 of 6 from the line. Individual notable statistics for the Colonials. Anir Venticuri has 3 points. Hamadi has 4. Rosa has 4. McNamara, a team-high 8 points, but all 8 points coming in the first quarter of play. He was silent in the second quarter.
Weren't they the first 8 points of the game that Shrewsbury scored?
They were the first. They were the
Yeah,
first 6
yeah.
or 8.
Yeah, I
yes,
know it was
and then
close.
that was it. And then that stopped. Cruz 2 points on the night. Nickerson with 2 as well. So that's Shrewsbury's
One more
story.
note.
Yes.
Who has the 0?
And as we said previously,
The
Bill
key to
Thomas
the game.
talked about the key to the game being
Key to the
Britcher
game.
for the Colonials. Well, he's
Coach
been
Machado
silent.
expected the same thing when we talked prior to the
He's
game
probably
as well.
not happy at home.
I was
then.
going to say, got to be. I joked with him. I
But-
said, it's one of those things, you're at home. We had said it to the other coaching staffs
Gotta
as
calm
well.
down.
Either the family or the family pet, somebody is getting coached intensively at home tonight.
But he's got to be happy that
He's got ketchup bottles and other condiments
He's
on the
moving them
table.
around.
Moving them around. Allspice just scored.
Great scene from The Blind Side.
to have
Great
his,
movie.
have his number one scoring player not score but still be in a tie game at the half. He's got to have a little bit of smile on the inside, knowing that player could wake up at any moment.
Was it Allspice? Was that?
It was. Allspice scored. Really well done. Hey, if you're going to recreate a scene,
Allspice just scored.
recreate it
All
right.
right. Let's take a look at the Blue Devils side of things. 23 points for them as well. We know that everything is all knotted up between these two teams on the scoreboard, but 11 rebounds, 1 steal, 9 turnovers for the Blue Devil as a team shooting 1 of 3 from the line. Scoring contributions on the stat sheet from the Blue Devils: Viola with 2 points, Moisten with 3, Asias with 1. Dada now with a team-high 12 points, so he was fairly quiet in the first quarter with just 4, added 8 points to that total, bringing him to a team-high 12 first half points, and Hawes with 4 points as well. So 5 Blue Devils on the score sheet, 6 Colonials on the score sheet for both sides, but right now everything all knotted up. I'm most interested to see what we have for mid-game adjustments here for both sides of the ball. It's going to be very interesting to see what these two teams do coming out, because obviously right now everything's square.
And that is the big note where we started. Tied this time at 23 through one half. Leominster 23, Shrewsbury 23. Kate alluded to it. And hey, you want
don't allude. I just say it.
You want a one-stop shop for mid-game adjustments? We got it for you at the one-stop shop. For all your comic book and video game needs, there's only One stop. The one-stop shop brings you Bill Thomas's mid-game adjustments. Bill Thomas, what are you expecting to see in the second half from both sides?
Well, for Shrewsbury, they got to find a way to get Andrew Britchett on the scoreboard. I mean, work the ball around to him. You know, get him some open shots, free him up a little bit. He's coming off back-to-back, double scoring figures, 14, I believe, and 16 his last 2 games. You got to find a way to get him the ball and to loosen him up a little bit. On the Leominster side, find a way to get the ball to Jason Duder on the weak side. You know, he's got to stop standing around outside the key. His game is, 10 feet and in, 12 feet and in, slashing the basket, looking for that weak side cut, running the baseline and doing what he does best, working around under the basket. I think that's where both offensive stars need to step it up and really lead their team here in the second half.
Mid-game adjustments brought to you by the one-stop shop here on the K-Zone. Great to have you with us for our first K-Zone game of the week and here with our partners on RFM and Leominster TV. What a first half we've been treated to. Tied at 23 through one half. Who wants it more? That's the question. We're going to solve it in second half action. Action here on the K-Zone. The game of the week brought to you by Viola's Fitchburg Tire, Harvard Outdoor Power, Jarvis Ford, and Rhino Linings of Leominster. We thank you all so much for your support of the K-Zone game of the week. Teams back at their benches. They're having their conversations, trying to get settled with what will be those second half adjustments. Is it what Bill Thomas said? Do we need more data for Leominster, more Britcher for Shrewsbury, or will there be a name that we all learn together? That's the question. And of course, this is the first of 2 meetings. We'll have them both for you here on RFM for certain, but you're also looking at a potential Central Mass Athletic Directors Tournament matchup, or even somewhere down the road, potentially a playoff matchup as well.
Tell you, when it comes to history between these 2 schools, it's either Fitchburg, Shrewsbury, Wachusett. We're always talking about these 3. These are the ones, the powerhouses year in and year out. And, I don't care what sport it is, these 2 schools always seem to match up nicely.
Colonials will possess the basketball to start the second half. This is Abi Vetakuri with the inbound. Colonials go left to right here in the second half. Leominster goes right to left. Colonials wearing the road navy blue tops, navy blue bottoms, all trimmed in Vegas gold with the numerals front and back as we begin the second half. Nickerson misses the first 2 opportunities and a third, and Dada's got himself the rebound.
Once again, Shrewsbury controlling the offensive glass, just not able to convert.
Drive to the near side, moistened. Long 2, rattles out and will not fall. Past the 7.5-minute mark here of the third, we're tied at 23. Dribble back toward the top of the key. Bounce it inside. This is Vetakuri, who will drop it foul line. Find McNamara. McNamara for Nickerson. Left foul line extended. Short on the front rim, but a long rebound will roll itself out to Vetakuri. 2 Ventakuris and a McNamara sets up a long 2 for Britcher that will not go, and a rebound for Carr.
It's not happening for Andrew tonight.
Leominster gets their first touch as they go right to left, now half court left.
Leominster seeming to be a little bit more precise.
Still like to see that cutter.
Movement.
Viola waited for the defender to move, stuttered his feet before he put the ball on the floor. That's a walk, and the ball will go back to Shrewsbury.
The one thing I'm seeing is a lot of after pass standing around. You pass the ball, then cut, look for the return.
Idle.
Don't just stand there and wait for the pass to come back. Let's get a little weave, a little rotation, get some movement.
And it's a great point, Bill Thomas. People are looking awfully idle. The drive up floor, this is Britcher. Vetakuri from Britcher. Throws it up, got it on the rim, going to the floor, and that will fall.
Nice job right there.
That didn't even look like it was in the neighborhood.
No, and somehow it worked. Ball was deflected, last touched by Vetakuri, out of play. Leominster keeps the basketball.
Oh, the clock didn't stop. It took off 3 or 4 more seconds, so I got a little nervous. Not gonna lie to you.
6:17 to play here in the third. Colonials got the lone basket to this point in the second half. It's 25-23 Shrewsbury. Moisen gets the foul line feed. It's deflected on its way back to Dada. Top of the key left. Dada, jump stop. float, and that one will fall.
That's what I want to see from Justin. Do not pass the ball and stand around out there. Get in there and look for that return pass.
And back in transition, Viola will tip it away from Bircher out of play.
And you know the ball handlers are looking for him, but it doesn't do any good to pass him back the ball when he's 30 feet from the basket. He's got to work inside. That's where he does his best work.
One of the most impressive things about him is especially in that mid-range area, he just makes it look so effortless. He's able to hit from such a continuum of areas on the court.
5:55 to play here in the third, tied once again at 25. Viola tips this one to the other side of the floor.
Just to stress your point, Kate, somebody coming off 24 and 27-point games, you think they're throwing in a half a dozen three-pointers. That's not Justin's game.
19 to shoot, and here comes the inbound. Shrewsbury possesses half court to the right. This is Bircher. Steps back to the top of the key. Now 10 seconds to shoot. He drops it off to Vetakuri. Goes to the left. Sets up a three for Rosso. It doesn't fall, and the rebound down for Asias. And Viola heaves one up floor, finds Dada half court left. Now it's Hawes into a double team. Gave up his dribble and thwarted as that one went nowhere in particular.
A lot of hands.
And back down floor, it's McNamara for Vetakuri three. No roll on that one. Soft to the rim though, high rebound, and Dada goes up and brings it down.
Got company behind him, though.
Indeed he does, but he was able to kind of turn, get eyes, and drop it off to Viola. Now Viola, two fakes, steps back, drop it off for Asias. Under the 5-minute mark here of the third. 2 points on either side since halftime. Three ball doesn't go for Viola. Deflection into the front row. Three Colonials not able to corral it. It goes out of play. Leominster gets it back.
It's like, who are you? Uh-oh.
Oh, we all belong to each other. Yikes. 4:49 to play here in the third. 25 all.
And your peripheral sometimes plays tricks on you. You know there's bodies there. You just don't know that they're friendly.
Dada steps back top of the key. Swing to the near side, Viola. Drop it off to Asias, and they play catch. To the foul line. This one rattles out from Moisen on the jumper from the foul line, but Carr gets the rebound from the right, follows it on, and lays it in, and Leominster claims the lead at 27-25. Back down floor immediately, it's Rosso, bothered from either side, no whistle, shot missed, and back down floor we go. This is Dada, sets up a three, front rim no, rebound brought down, deflected out of play. Last touch by Leominster, and the ball will go back to Shrewsbury.
I think this is Leominster's first lead of the night, Todd and Kate, as Shrewsbury jumped off to that quick early lead. Leominster's been playing catch-up the whole game.
You're absolutely right, Bill Thomas.
Halfway through this third quarter, and it's 27-25 Leominster. Still, by the way, only a combined 6 points since halftime. Leominster's got four, Shrewsbury's got two.
That's arid.
Yes, it is. The Sahara out on the floor right now offensively.
Look at the 8-4 quarter the two teams had in the second quarter, so it's really not surprising. Both teams are cold tonight.
Drives to the inside. McNamara able to create some space with the elbows without making contact. It was a nice move. Go back top of the key. Bircher with 5 to shoot. He's picked from Viola, who can't quite settle the handle. Now he's got it, and he'll drop it off for Carr. Two fakes. Carr pulls up for the jumper in the lane. It doesn't go. Rebound down for Hamadi.
Got to convert those turnovers. Open lane.
Yeah, and he decides not to take. Goes back to Hamadi, who gets the opportunity to finish, and the whistle goes off on that one. 2 shots coming up here for Hamadi at the line. First foul of the second half, Kate.
That's absolutely right, and Carr is going to pick that up. It's going to be his first, team first for Leominster in the second half, so nobody's going to be in foul trouble going into the fourth quarter.
I was thinking the same thing.
Nobody.
Officials letting them play, as we like to say.
That one will not fall for Hamadi.
Hamadi 0 of 1 on the night.
Anir Vetakuri will get a breather. Jack Kamin will check in. And that rebound will be brought down by Moisen as that one doesn't go either. We're stuck at 27-25, Leominster with the lead, Kate.
This gym, you could hear a pin drop right now.
I was going to say, all of a sudden we went from a lot of energy here. We hit halftime, and all of a sudden the air has come out of the sails on all sides. Viola misses a three from the right. Asias tries to keep it alive on the baseline. They say he's out of play, and the ball will go back to Shrewsbury.
But it's just on all sides. The teams, the coaching staffs, the crowd, The players just deflated.
Yeah, right now, we're going to go with another movie reference. It's Tommy Boy there. Tommy is sitting in the boat waiting for a gust of wind, and he's got nowhere to go with his sailboat. And he's talking to the on high, going, Dad, please, please give me a little breeze. Ball rolls out of play, and we get a couple of token rounds of applause for a little bit of Leominster half-court defense. 2:50 to play here in the third quarter. For a crowd that is limited to families and siblings, nobody's checking DNA here inside the gym tonight. So it is certainly one of those cases where there is a decent crowd here, although there is a mid-watch policy.
Here tonight.
Indeed there are. Joked before the game with some of the coaching staffs, large families here, large families in attendance tonight.
I live under the stairs in the basement.
Viola takes
Harry
the three
Potter.
from the right. That one won't roll. Tapped. Asia's got a handle on it, but he was out of play once again, and we're still 2:19 to play here in the third quarter at 27-25.
Tremendous effort, though, when he does that.
He has calling his
Just
name a lot
tremendous.
tonight. Another quarter here for both teams struggling offensively.
We still
We
only
got
have
a 4-2
6
quarter.
points
Yeah.
between both teams.
4-2 quarter with almost 6 minutes
Poked
gone
from
by.
behind as across half comes McNamara, and it ends up out of play. It was last touched by Leominster, and the Colonials
Oh.
will keep with 22 to shoot.
Coach Crutchfield, well, not happy with that.
Coach Marcus Watson filling in for Coach Adrian Machado tonight says thumb down is the play call. The float inbound, and running it down there was McNamara. Not entirely certain that was the design. 2:05 to play here in the third quarter. Come in. Kicks back out to Veta Curry. That was a bothered three. It was short of the mark, and Moison's got the rebound. Moison from right to left tries to snap it to Dada, and swatted away by Hamadi out of play.
Nice heads-up look there. Trying to get that fast break going.
I cannot get over the emotional difference between the first half and the second half.
Yeah,
I mean, this is not the adjustment that I thought either of these teams was going to make.
And the clock is frozen once again here inside the gym at Leominster High School. 1:54 to play here in the third quarter, and stuck at 1:54 to play here in the third quarter. Shot clock continues to count. That means at least 20 seconds has come off the clock. But yet the clock continues to be frozen at 1:54 to play here in the third quarter. And now there is a held ball. There was an official standing directly in front of
And he
us
could hear you.
and clearly could hear.
You could definitely hear.
1 second came off the clock, when in actuality, we had a 30-second shot clock and then some that came off the board. And yet, all of that action officially occurred
Didn't
in
happen.
1 second of game time.
Didn't happen. Nothing changed.
It's all good.
Got a turnover out of it.
Yikes. That's all I can say about that. Ball comes back into play. Clock begins to roll, and away we go. 1:50 to play here in the third quarter. Sticky button over there at the official table tonight, not quite able to get it to go. Moison, three ball from the left corner, rattles halfway down, and it doesn't go. And Dada runs down the rebound at the top of the key. This one ends up back in the hands of Veta Curry on a deflection. Veta Curry down floor, finds Hamadi. Hamadi pops up a two, doesn't go. Dada got the rebound and a little energy in the transition. Dada throws that one looking for Moison. Instead found the new Blue Devil on the door of the gymnasium. Timeout on the floor. 1:23 to play here in the third quarter. Ball going back to Shrewsbury. 27-25 is the lead for Leominster right now in what has been a lethargic third quarter on both sides of the
Do you know
floor.
who took that timeout? Sorry.
It was a Leominster timeout.
Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Action here on the K-Zone brought to you by Walker Orthodontics, a pioneer in advanced airway orthodontics. Online at drwalker.com. Your first step to a better night's sleep is Walker Orthodontics. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you joining us for the K-Zone Game of the Week here on AM1280, 105.3 FM, and WPKZstream.com with our partners at RFM tonight, Facebook.com/Media Rivalry for the live action tonight, your home for the live play-by-play, and then with our partners in delay on Leominster TV on the channels of Verizon, Comcast, and Leominster.tv. So many ways to participate tonight, and a great crowd out there tonight as well.
Crowd just cheered for a young man who made a basket during the timeout, and it was louder than anything we've heard from anything else from the third quarter. I will
I
say,
tell you, a 4-2 quarter, I didn't think it get any uglier than the second quarter, that 8-4, but
So far it
we're on
has.
the verge of it.
Coach Crutchfield demonstrative during that timeout. I mean, he was on fire. So we have to see how his student athletes respond. There's no spark. You don't have anybody out
Urgency.
there,
You're a 3-1 team.
But as a veteran, veteran leadership situation, then you go out there on the court and also hype up your team.
Yeah.
We're seeing nothing.
At some point, do you make a statement, pull 5 and put 5 in for a possession or two, just to get them on the bench?
It can't get worse than.
I was going to say, can't get worse than the current
4
lethargic situation, but Shrewsbury continues to navigate that scenario as well. 1:15 to play here in the third quarter, stuck at 27-25. If you want defense, you've gotten a lot of it tonight here on the Game of the Week.
Leominster playing tight man-to-man, so we'll give them some credit for that.
Come in, drops this one off for Cruz. Swing it over, Britcher, long 2, and that one will go. And the Colonials pick up their 4th point of the second half. We're tied at 27.
Bill Thomas. Britcher
4-4.
on the stat sheet.
Finally.
50 seconds left here in the third. Kick basketball as Viola tries to send it across the lane. And a whistle will stop the action. 50 5/10 left here in the third quarter. And now a whistle, and the officials are going to have a conversation here on the floor.
This ought to be good.
And now they head on over to the official table.
Maybe they'll take that 50 seconds off that they didn't let run earlier.
That's not happening.
And the interesting correction, they're talking about the shot clock right now.
21.
So they had reset it to
'cause they had a
30 on
kick.
the possession. It was a kick.
Kick ball.
They sent it all the way to 30. The reset, it sounds like, should be at 20. Well, they just reset it again. As they continue to navigate the shot clock, for those of you joining us here on the K-Zone, next action for you, our next game of the week, is next Friday. That's January the 21st. Leominster and Wachusett Boys Varsity Basketball action. The K-Zone Game of the Week. We're on the air at 6:35 and the tip-off at 7 o'clock. Our partners at RFM with you as well as Leominster TV. All that next week on a Friday night here on AM 1280 and 105.3 FM.
Settle on 24 at the shot clock.
And
Get the game going.
Start the possession. Moisen, a wide open 3, and buries it. And that brings the Leominster bench to their feet, and a little bit of enthusiasm there. Leominster's got a 3-point lead, their largest of the night.
Woke the crowd up, that's for sure.
Going down is Britcher, lost the basketball. Up floor, they find Viola. He missed the bunny. It was wide open.
Got fancy there at the end.
We've talked about missed layups.
Yeah,
Missed free
we
throws.
focused on that, Kate, and it's coming to fruition.
Final 5 seconds here with the third quarter. It's Vetakuri working on Dada. Britcher the drive, jumper at the buzzer, tried to bank it home, and it just rattled out off the front of the rim. I think both sides would say, thank goodness the third quarter is over. But Leominster's got themselves a lead. It's 30-27 Leominster, up 3 through 3 quarters on home court tonight.
Did you think the third quarter could be uglier than the second? It was. That was a 7-4 quarter.
That is correct.
Leominster won the
Tied
quarter.
at 23 at the half.
7-4 quarter after an 8-4 quarter in the second quarter.
I'm sure whichever school picks up the victory tonight is going to chalk it up as a win and say, you know what,
Let's
it
move
doesn't
on.
matter.
Yeah.
I'd rather be lucky than good. I'd rather it be ugly, but a win is a win is a win when you look on down the road.
Yeah, I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty.
That's correct. Final 8 minutes on the board here. Coming up, fourth quarter action. It's Leominster 30 and Shrewsbury 27. K-Zone Game of the Week brought to you by Airport Auto Parts. A second generation of automotive recyclers provides the best customer experience online at airportautoparts.com. Kate, through 3 quarters, what are you seeing on your stat sheet?
Not a lot of changes there. However, with regard to Shrewsbury, McNamara has been silent. Right now he has a team-high 8 points, but all 8 points coming in the first quarter of play. He's been silent for 2 full quarters. If he gets anything going here in this fourth quarter, you got to watch out because that's been interesting. Britcher quite quiet tonight for Shrewsbury, only 2 points, and we just saw them happen. Dada for Leominster right now with a team-high 14 points, but he was limited to just 1 basket from the field in that third quarter. So he's another one. If he starts to ignite here in this fourth quarter, either of those players start to ignite things, you got to watch out. But we need more scoring from somebody.
I was going to say, and remember, in that third quarter, they played an extra estimated 30 seconds of action, and we still had an anemic offensive output. Off the inbound, it was deflected out of play. Colonials will keep it. 2 seconds come off the board, and now they will try to continue action. The deflection makes its way to Nickerson, who gets grabbed, and a whistle goes off for a shove off the play. It's our first foul on the floor tonight.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Not only is the score down, the fouls are down too.
Foul's been down all night.
Surprisingly.
7:56 to play in the fourth quarter. Our friends over on the hockey side of things here on the K-Zone would call that the whistle in the pocket. I'm not sure they came out of the locker room in the second half. 5 seconds into this fourth quarter, it's 30-27. Fouls at 2-0. Leominster called for 2 here in the second half. Shrewsbury has not committed a foul in the second half. Awfully clean action, to say the least.
Says nobody moved.
Good point.
There's been a lot of standing around and not a lot of aggressive play for sure, Kate.
8 seconds to shoot. Vetakuri's got an opening. He gets hacked by Hawes, and Vetakuri's got 2 coming from the line.
Now the fouls are starting to add up. Here we go.
And that is Leominster's 3rd.
And 2nd from Hawes within the last 30 seconds. His 2nd, team 3rd.
Ask, I guess, and ye shall receive, as Abi Vetakuri finds himself at the line, the senior. Other 4 Colonials head over to the bench to talk to acting head coach Marcus Watson, as Vetakuri was automatic on the first.
Coach Machado, we're checking on you. How's the heart rate? How are things going? He must not love
I imagine
a 2-point game.
it's a lot of white knuckle on the easy chair tonight. You know, Coach shared with me he's been coaching for 17 years, and this is the first team organized activity for any team he's ever coached that he's not been at. Practice, game, etc. It's got to be driving him crazy.
He's got to be gutted.
But we're glad we were able to bring it to him tonight. Leominster with the catch and replace. 1-point ball game. 30-29, Leominster's lead. Viola pulls up for a 3 from the left and buries it.
That was from the bench.
33-29, Leominster back on top. 7:08 to play. A pick of the inbound, and
Oh.
Viola flushes that one. Back-to-back buckets for Viola. It forces Coach Marcus Watson timeout. Timeout on the floor, Colonials. And all of a sudden, a team that had gone seemingly to sleep, it's Kevin Viola who sparks for 5, hits a 3, followed up with a 2, and Leominster's got a 35-29 lead. Not even a minute into this fourth quarter.
More scoring here in the last minute than we had in the entire quarter.
You took
Third
the
quarter.
words right out of my mouth.
I'll
Kate.
just say it,
I was
Billy.
doing some quick math, and you're right. In the minute of the fourth quarter, it feels like we got more offense the entire second half. And let's throw the second quarter in there. Not a lot happened in there, at least from my memory. There were points, but I don't even remember how they scored them.
K-Zone Game of the Week brought to you by Cinema World. Experience more of what you love at a place you love. Cinema World in Fitchburg, the way movies were meant to be seen on the silver screen at Cinema World. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have you along with us here on the legendary AM1280 and 105.3 FM. Great to have you along with us tonight. WPKZ stream for the streaming audio on the go. And of course, if you're joining us, Facebook.com/Media Rivalry for the live streaming coverage. We thank all of you so very much for being a part of this action. This game will be available immediately in replay on demand. Go to YouTube.com and search Rivalry Family Media. Like, follow, and subscribe today, or as they say, smash that like button.
Nobody says that.
Who says that?
Nobody.
Who's they?
They?
Todd does.
No, that's not true. I got to get some high school kids over here. They'll defend my position here. You know, people that watch a lot of
They're
YouTube.
going to say, what's the like button?
No, they know what the like button
I
is.
was
They
gonna
just
say.
don't smash it.
They smash the like button in class. That's half the problem. 6:40 to play in the fourth quarter. 35-29, Leominster's lead. Colonials with the basketball, half court to the right, and it's a block call on the inside on the drive. Leominster is not happy. They wanted the push off on the drive into the lane. Had that
Richard lowered his
leading
shoulder there,
forearm.
for sure. We had a pretty good look at it here. But he gets the call on the floor.
It's the 4th foul called against Leominster in the second half to the 0 called against the Colonials. Stack broke, bounce inside. Nice find by Rosso. It went across the baseline on a deflection. They say last touched by Moisen of Leominster, and Shrewsbury will keep with 29 to shoot. 6:34 to play in the fourth quarter. 35-29, Leominster's lead. Colonials would like a basket on this possession. Coach Grudgefield screaming from midcourt for his defense. And then a whistle, and Viola is called for a hand check.
Fouls are adding up now.
6:32 to play in the fourth quarter, and we called a hand check. 5 fouls called against Leominster to the 0 called against Shrewsbury tonight in this second half.
Todd's getting that tone.
You sense that, huh, Kate?
Todd's getting that
Ay,
tone.
ay, 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 ay. That's all I can say about that.
Let's just say the evaluations may not be stellar.
Indeed, Vetakuri's 3 does not fall. Battle for the rebound. Hamadi will run it down.
Oh,
It's
boy.
deflected into the bench by a hustle play by Viola. Coach Watson keeps him standing, and that's great sportsmanship on all sides, as Viola was also trying not to crash into the Colonial bench. as he hustled after the basketball.
You know, it's Hamadi, hands above everybody else there, chipping that rebound to himself, chasing it out of bounds. Kid's a leaper.
I can't imagine being able to leap that high.
I want to see him go for a dunk. I saw him try one in warm-ups. Situation hasn't arose here, but I think he's got it in him.
Hamadi, the drive and kick. He's called for the walk, and the ball will go back to Leominster. So 3 or 4 opportunities on the possession for the Colonials, and they come up dry. 6:12 to play here in the fourth quarter. We're still at 35-29. Moisen into the front court. Asias guns it for Dada. The baseline drive. The lay-in goes, and the basket is waved off. A reach-in foul called on the floor on Dada's drive. It's the first foul on the Colonials in the second half at the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter.
It turns out to be a good foul.
Works for them. The inbound for Dada off his chest, and that foul looks even better on the turnover by Leominster.
Yep.
Up floor, Britcher, an open 3 from the left, doesn't go. Tap for the rebound, it's run down by Rosso. He bounces it baseline. McNamara comes to the near side looking for Hamadi. Not able to get it, but the loose ball got tipped. McNamara went back for the reverse lay-in. It doesn't go. Battle for a loose ball, and the rebound's run down by Viola, who plays catch with Hawes and turns it in transition. And Coach Crutchfield throws up the stop sign as the ball comes over half
And
court.
Viola's come alive in this second half, especially in this fourth quarter.
No look, find on the baseline. Viola finds Hawes. He takes it up strong, and he gets fouled. Hawes has got 2 coming from the line.
Nice look by Viola, though, to get that ball down in the baseline, get another one of his players an opportunity here.
What a find by Viola. He had just that missile, Bill Thomas, like GPS guided. It's going there.
And he did it off the dribble, too. He doesn't stop. He put up on the dribble and then fired it right in there. Good look.
First shot does not go for Hawes at the line.
Right now,
Go ahead.
Viola with Leominster's only points in the fourth quarter, and they were baskets that were back-to-back.
And 5 points in that early flurry. It's led to Leominster's lead, which they're hanging on to white knuckle.
Shrewsbury only has 2 free throws.
Hawes will get the back end of that trip, goes 1 of 2, and it's 36-29. And now Leominster brings the full court pressure on the made free throw. Dada tracking McNamara, coming over the timeline. Dada the tip, and is able to loosen the basketball. Dada's got it on the steal, right to left of the basket. He gets fouled by McNamara, and Dada's got 2 coming from the line.
Talk about doing it all. He got on the stat sheet a couple of spots there. Just harassing out of inbounds, bring it up court, and a steal, a clean steal.
And McNamara pleads his case to the official, and of course, because it's been so quiet, when all of a sudden things tighten up a little bit and the whistle starts going off, players are a little unsure of what they can and can't do. That becomes a complication in the action. 5:10 to play here in the fourth quarter as Dada hits the first.
His first points of the fourth quarter.
That's an interesting stat.
That's why I give him to you.
Been very quiet. He goes 2 of 2 on the trip, though. It's 38-29, Leominster's lead. 5:10 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Leominster with that press again, just to slow things up, break the rhythm.
And they will go with the full court pressure. They got the inbound. This is Rosso. Brings it across half court. Moisen will reach in, and he'll slap the wrist. Got caught a little flat-footed there, and as he reached back across as the drive went by him, slapped the right
But
wrist.
an interesting decision there to me.
I agree.
Not a good foul that
Well,
far
yeah.
from the basket. Is that what you're implying, Kate?
And just the play was already,
The aggressiveness?
well, but
It was
the
by
play was
him.
already by him.
By him, yeah.
Trying to reach all the way
You're
back
not
in
gonna
across
get
the
much
play,
out
and the
of that.
body is there. Seems unlikely.
It's not a high percentage pursuit.
I would agree. As we go under the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter, 38-29, Leominster's lead. Here's the drive in the lane, picked by Viola. It was tipped to McNamara. Double clutch, tried the pass to the baseline, looking for Rosso, and the ball will roll out of
I
play.
didn't see a player over there. I think I had already cut off the baseline.
And now Coach Watson will spend a timeout for the Colonials. 4:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. A 38-29 Leominster lead, and all of a
Check
sudden,
on Coach Machado.
I was going to say, that feels like it is
I don't
an
know where
awfully
that,
large lead at
I was
this
going
moment.
to say, I don't know
the way
where
the night
that 9-point lead came from all of a sudden. I think mostly thanks to Viola there.
Well, I will tell you where the 9-point lead comes from. So Shrewsbury trailing by 3 going into the fourth quarter. Their only points have been 2 free throws, and that is it. It's been 2 Vetacurry free throws in the entire fourth quarter. That's not how you're going to be able to sustain any type of closeness.
A quick 5 by Viola, a couple foul shots by Dada, and here we have a nice 9-point lead here.
Game of the week here on the K-Zone, brought to you by Game On Sports and Performance Center, where the game is always on. It's Game On Fitchburg. Call 978-956-4111 or go to GameOnFitchburg.com to book your sports getaway. Bill Thomas, I don't want to break it to you, but there's your birthday gift right there. I got a sports getaway for you at Game On Sports and Performance Center in Fitchburg.
I'm in. If it has to do with sports and it's a game, I don't care what sport it is.
Absolutely. Great opportunities there and a great facility built there in Fitchburg to, of course, support local athletics. 4:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. 38-29, Leominster's lead. Out of the Shrewsbury timeout, 19 to shoot on this possession. 3-ball opportunity doesn't go for Vetakuri. High rebound, battle for the ball. Whistle goes off. It's a grab signal, and the foul will go against Rosso. Fouls suddenly evening up here. 6-4, Leominster been called for 2 more, but that's after a very long second half. In about a minute and a half, Colonials went from no fouls to 4 fouls in the fourth as Donna drives the lane on the left. Laying good.
What side of the lane? The left side. That's where he does his best work.
And he's able to keep that ball in that offhand on the left-hand side. Back down floor. 3-ball away from Rosso is wide of the mark. Viola's got the rebound. Through Asias. Up floor for Moisen. He draws the block, and Moisen goes to the floor hard.
Nice job running that fast break off that miss. Quickly getting the ball up the court without any dribbles. Pass, fast break, foul.
4:19 to play in the fourth quarter. It's 40-29. Leominster with the lead.
You know, any coach would tell you, I love running the fast break. Don't dribble the ball. Look for the outlet, get the ball back in the middle, and look for the cutter.
There's a lot of sweat out there on the floor. The officials are looking for a towel. Justin Dada tried to pitch in, though. He's trying to use the old squeak it up technique there. He was using the shoe there, trying to get a little bit of the dust, try to take some of that sheen off the floor. And now the officials have got themselves a towel in along the baseline. More action coming up for you. It's a double dip next week. If you're joining us on RFM, we got your basketball coming up on Wednesday. That's January the 19th. It's Leominster and Eastern Mass Power Burlington. The Blue Devils and the Red Devils coming your way here from the gym at Leominster High School. 6:45 here on RFM. 7 o'clock the tip-off. We got the action for you. Leominster and Burlington. A battle of the Devils, Bill Thomas.
And it'll be nice to see a team that we've never seen before on the other side, or close to the other side of 128. Straddling 128, so I don't know if we've ever seen Burlington, but it's always nice to see a new opponent.
We put that on the schedule?
Today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Kate, you didn't get the memo? I did.
She was there. She was at the meeting. First one will fall. You'll miss, excuse me. Second one will fall for Moisen. It's 41-29.
I didn't know about the game. You didn't know about the free throw.
4:15 to play here in the fourth quarter. Colonials with the basketball. It's Vetakuri. Drops it off for McNamara. McNamara the take. Moisen goes up. He looks surprised. If his mask was covering his face, he wouldn't. But he got all arm on that one.
Nice drop in, Todd. I like that.
4:08 to play here in the fourth quarter. Hey,
Dynamite drop.
I was going to say, that broadcast score really paid off.
That was a
41-29. Leominster with the lead over Shrewsbury tonight.
He's not wrong.
McNamara goes to the line, shooting 2 for the Colonials. We'll also put the Colonials in the bonus the rest of the way, as that's the 7th foul booked on Leominster.
I'll use the initials. They teach you that at CSB?
Oh, he didn't go to CSB.
Oh, I didn't go to no CSB there, Bill Thomas.
Syracuse.
Syracuse University,
blue
blue and orange.
I knew that.
I mean, that's a burning. that one hurt me.
That hurt?
That one hurt me.
I'll say, all those CSBs have seemingly found their job in Eastern Mass, so I can't throw barbs inside this glass house. 4:08 to play here in the fourth quarter. It's a 10-point Leominster lead. Where did that come from here
so
at 41-31?
who hit those foul shots, Todd?
That was McNamara
Good
at the
job.
line. Thank you.
He's got a team-high 10 now.
And the reach in there as Dada comes over half court, goes triple threat with his back to the basket, drew the foul on the reach in, 6th called against the Colonials. They've got 1 more to burn. Leominster will shoot the rest of the way. We're exactly at the halfway mark of this 4th and final quarter of regulation as we go under 4 minutes here. Back at the top of the key, it's Viola the drive. Hands all over on that drive. It's come in, and that is the 7th foul called against the Colonials, and we have bonus on both sides. 1-and-1 foul shot opportunities coming here.
You know, and I think I saw what we're seeing now is I think the Colonials got to get a little more aggressive. It looked like the Blue Devils were going to burn some clock there, and Colonials can't lay back now and let the Blue Devils burn clock. They just don't have that kind of time possessions.
Deflection and a battle for the basketball. Rolls into the Leominster bench, out of play on the rebounding action. Last touch by the Colonials, and Leominster gets another opportunity and a fresh 30. Up 10 with 3:51 to play here in the fourth quarter. The inbound for Dada. Dada works a little behind the back, drops it off for Asias. Asias, crossover, spin through the lane, gets it on glass, soft touch and goes.
Nice spin move there, good job.
When he's feeling it, it's pretty.
Leominster with the full court pressure. And now the drive. Vetakuri will push it across half court. Drop it off for commit. Half court offense sets up for the Colonials. Here's the drive for Hamadi. Goes with the right hand shot, missed everything. Nickerson the rebound. And Nickerson was falling over as Moisen bodied up on, but meanwhile, Viola was the second defender in the play and was actually pulling on McNamara on the play. They're going to actually give the foul shots to Nickerson. That's a break for Leominster, as Viola, although he was the second defender in the action, he was tied up with McNamara, a better free throw shooter.
Nickerson, though, 2 for 2 tonight from the line.
And his shoe game is solid as he banks the first one in.
I see quite an array of interesting shoes out on the court tonight.
Indeed.
For both teams.
This is a
picking
Picasso
up
painting
the
of sorts,
shoe.
modern art, if you will. There's a lot of different colors smattered in, but I like them.
Surprising,
the thick white sole.
though, that Shrewsbury is permitted to wear.
It's true. Athletic director
fancy
Jay
schmance.
Costa does like his blue and Vegas gold look not to be interrupted. Hope I didn't just blow up his spot.
That is not in the beginning of the season.
Nickerson
wardrobe.
went high as the pass got put in the lane, and Nickerson just came down and landed on Hawes.
Fouls have evened up rather quickly here, Kate.
They have 8 apiece right now. That one is Cruz's first, but it's going to be a team 8th. And as you said, 8 fouls on both sides.
Indeed. 8 fouls on the Colonials in the last 90 seconds.
Yeah, we were looking at, what, a 5-0, a 6-0 disparity there.
Got to even that up.
Well, they sorted that problem out. 3:03 to play here in the fourth quarter. 43-33.
Is that in the referee handbook?
It's not. And simply all I would say is if you committed 8 fouls in 90 seconds, then chances are there were fouls throughout
You've
the
gotten
game.
a little too aggressive.
I would say
A little
both sides
desperate.
probably committed more fouls. It's just one of those things. I mean, it's one of those things that you said. You quickly even them up. It's eight aside, but
and you could call 20 if you really wanted to blow that whistle all night.
action
We did
feels
have a
like
hand
it's
check.
definitely been restricted in this fourth quarter compared to a very wide open, old-fashioned Madison
that
Square
bunny hop.
Garden Big East basketball game. As Asias jump stopped, but he never really stopped. He kept right on moving. His foot hit the floor, so he's up and
like a
down
triple
before
jump.
letting it go. Exactly, and that is a no zone. That's a traveling violation. The ball goes back to Shrewsbury. 2:45 to play here in the fourth. 10-point lead. Leominster on top of the Colonials. Spin move through the foul line. It's McNamara with the bounce pass. He skidded to a stop. That's a walk. Next K-Zone Game of the Week action comes your way next Friday night. That's January the 21st. 6:35, our countdown to tip-off on the K-Zone Game of the Week next Friday, January the 21st. It's Leominster and Wachusett in more exciting boys basketball action here on AM1280 and 105.3 FM and WPKZstream.com. And with our partners at RFM and Leominster TV, it should be another great mid-watch battle and seemingly two teams that are on a collision course for one another that are going to figure heavily on the boys basketball side of things. But as Coach Adrian Machado pointed out to me, on any given night in this mid-watch, and this is not just a cliche here, literally any team can win. This Colonial team came in at 1-3, taking on a 3-1 Leominster team, and they looked like the better basketball team for a good majority of the first half of action. So really this league is very wide open. Going into that Central Mass tournament, when you bring in, of course, Northern Worcester County and Southern Worcester County, going to be a lot of great battles in that new layout, a sectional tournament, or you could call it a conference tournament of sorts if you were to use the college terminology, coming up in February ahead of the new statewide playoff.
I just can't believe how different the tempo for both of these teams has been just in 2 halves.
Got to imagine
Just
in
two
some
different
cases,
teams.
as Hawes misses the shot and back down floor in transition, it's Bircher. Kate, I got to imagine that's cardio. You're just seeing the players gassed out on the floor in the second half.
Now you look at Shrewsbury, they've only got 10 points here in the second half total.
And that was the lack of offense that Coach Machado had said was his, and when I asked him, hey, what's the thing you want to improve on? It's that lack of offense.
Bill Thomas, they have no points from the field in the fourth quarter.
All foul.
And there's another possession run aside, turnover on the shot clock violation. The ball will go back to Leominster. And he said, you know, we're billed as a three-point shooting team, and the numbers, our percentages, are not bearing that out.
That's a tough number to share, Kate. No field goals here in this fourth quarter for Shrewsbury.
1 3-point basket.
In the second half?
In the game.
In the game, yes. And the foul shots we'll have to look at.
They were 4 of 8 after 3 quarters.
80 seconds left in regulation. Moisen misses the foul shot, and the rebound's down for Vetsa-Curry. Back up floor. This was Amati. Shot goes in and out of the rim, deflected out of play. 1:09 to play here in the fourth quarter. It's 43-33 Leominster's lead, and Coach Marcus Watson will spend the timeout to set up this play down floor. K-Zone Game of the Week here on AM1280 and 105.3 FM, brought to you by Acme Carpet One. There's lots of pros and cons in the flooring business, and these are the pros online at acmecarpetone.com. K-Zone Game of the Week also brought to you by Bank Hometown. Bank Hometown's free checking account works for you. Visit bankhometown.com or stop in to their convenient Leominster branch on Sac Boulevard. Member FDIC, Bank Hometown. We thank you also very much for your longtime support of the action here on the K-Zone, celebrating our 80th year on the air in the 101st year of the discipline of radio. Great to have you with us. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you joining us on a whole host of platforms. It's the K-Zone Game of the Week opener for the season. Going to have the best high school basketball and hockey out there throughout the rest of the winter and on through the playoffs as well. We're looking forward to that action. And, of course, here on RFM, we've got your best basketball coverage, and with our partners at Leominster TV as well. Games, and more games. There's going to be a lot of games played between now and March.
We've been around for 12 of them.
Indeed, we have been. And what a great history. This week, Leominster TV put out a great saving maneuver here. Of course, they are so phenomenal at saving film, led by Jack Selly and their Center for Preservation. Him and Carl Pemerini working on, of course, a phenomenal saving. It was a original 1941 film reel that they saved. Back down for the lay-in will go for Dada. 45-33 Leominster's lead. Final minute here of the fourth. But what I saw, Bill Thomas, in the middle of that, and I snapped a couple photos I'll show you later on. 1941, we know the film was recorded in October, November 1941. What else occurred in October of 1941?
Must have had something to do with the radio.
The old WEIM signed on the air in Fitchburg, prominently displayed in a parade that they were shooting. There was the mic flags of WEIM on the old-fashioned 1940s microphones. Cool. So very cool when you connect yourself to that history and the history here of this station.
I mean, I think we're part of that history. It's an honor, really, to be part of such a long-standing tradition here in Fitchburg.
47 and a half seconds left here in the fourth quarter. 45-33 Leominster's lead.
Kevin Viola picks up his 5th foul. Leominster team limit for the second half.
He had a pretty interesting second half himself, especially this fourth quarter. Provided a spark, or whether it's offensively, defensively, but found a way to get himself on the scoreboard.
4 second half fouls for Viola.
He was everywhere.
He was active.
He was. He wanted to get his name called.
Anir Vetsa-Curry misses the first, but Kate, here's the number I'm more interested in. He fouls out at the 47-ish second mark here of the fourth quarter. How many points did he foul out with?
5. No, 7.
5 of them came at the start of the fourth quarter and may have been the difference in this basketball game.
It was definitely a spark. Both teams were basically stuck in quicksand.
1 of 2 on the trip from the line. Second one doesn't go. Dada the rebound, and he got fouled on the loose ball as the Colonials have to give to stop the clock as they try to extend the game.
It's like a foul shooting contest now.
45-34, our score. As Dada goes to the line, shooting 1 plus the bonus. Only the 9th foul called against the Colonials. And the first one will go.
You know, Dada's slowly getting his points tonight, Kate. He's got to be up in the teens by now, I'm guessing.
22.
It's all 22. I talk about quiet.
Coming up post-game, you stay with us here on the K-Zone and on RFM. We've got head coach Kevin Grudgefield of Leominster joining us here at our courtside broadcast position. Stay tuned for that one coming up here in just a matter of moments. The drive down the lane. This is Cruz. Shot will not go. High off glass, and the rebound is down for Hawes. Now in transition. McCormick spins into the front court. Finds Hawes at the foul line. Now over to Dada. Final 20 seconds here is about a half a second differential. Shot clock to game clock. And Leominster trying to dribble it out. Vetakuri has to give the foul, and it'll send Dada to the line. The 10th foul called against the Colonials. 2 shots coming up here for Dada.
Actually, bill that to Britcher.
Interesting, as Dada's first will go.
Dada was 0 of 1 from the line through 3 quarters. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did he make that?
He did.
7 out of 8.
I was going to say he's done some work from the line here in the second half.
49-34, final 12 seconds of this one. Britcher, driving kick, Vetakuri, 3 from the left. Got the rim long, run down on the play by Hamadi. Tries to dribble it out of trouble, and Hamadi is screaming for help because he doesn't have a dribble, and the shot will not count, and the action will end. And that kind of isolation, the lack of movement on the offensive end in the waning seconds, that's going to be what Coach Adrian Machado returns from his protocols to address. That's the isolation, the lack of movement, the offense just not having that spark. That's the problem that's got to be cured on the offensive end.
Yeah, and I think Shrewsbury did a good job of overcoming that in the first quarter, and then kind of lost their way as the game progressed. And I think that was basically the way it ended right there. They were just running around kind of out of control and nobody helping each other out.
49-34, Leominster a winner tonight. They improved their overall record to 4-1. Meanwhile, the Colonials fall to 1-4 here inside the gym at Leominster High School tonight. K-Zone Game of the Week brought to you by Dorico's Market, a full-service meat market in Delhi, Worcester's go-to old-fashioned butcher shop and specialty market since 1947. Now open at 1123 Central Street in Leominster. Got a chance to bounce over there last week before the snow. Picked up some great produce, meat, and other things. Enjoy that. The all-new Dorico's at 1123 Central Street in Leominster. Kate, I'm hungry, as it turns out as well. 49-34, Leominster on top of Shrewsbury, and the win tonight here inside the gym at Leominster High School. For those of you joining us on Leominster TV, for Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, I am Todd Robbins. Bradley Bedard brings you the beautiful pictures. We say thank you so very much for joining us here inside the gym at Leominster High School tonight. Good night for those of you joining us on Leominster TV. For those of you continuing along with us live tonight, it's Leominster and Shrewsbury, 49-34, Leominster a win. Post-game show comes your way next. Leominster High School head coach Kevin Grudgefield joins us at our courtside broadcast position. Stay with us. This is the K-Zone Game of the Week here on WPKZ. K-Zone Game of the Week rolls on here on AM1280 and 105.3 FM. Leominster a winner tonight, 49-34, the final score in this one. Leominster improves their overall record to 4-1. Shrewsbury falls to 1-3. Continuing along with you here, our post-game brought to you by Manny's Appliance. Manny's features a complete lineup of major brand name appliances with exclusive rebates the big box stores do not have. Buy the best from Manny's, 120 Hamilton Street in Leominster. Voted year over year the best for local appliances. That's Manny's Appliances. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you continue on here on the K-Zone with our Game of the Week post-game here, as well as here on RFM as the gym continues to be occupied here. And folks idle on after a win tonight, a 49-34 Leominster victory tonight. Kate's final stats brought to you by Woodcombe Insurance. Woodcombe has the right coverage at the right price with a local team of insurance pros ready to help. Online at woodcombe.com. Kate, Woodcombe Insurance brings us your final stats.
Well, the most important one is the 15-point win that Leominster picks up tonight over Shrewsbury. If we take a look at team totals first for the Colonial side of the ball, 30 rebounds, 1 steal, 16 turnovers. They shot 10 of 15 from the line. That's 67%. Individual notable statistics. The combination of the Curry brothers, 8 points on the night. Hamidi with 4, Rosso with 4. McNamara, a very quiet 10 points. 8 of his 10 points coming in the first quarter of play.
What's up?
Britcher ends his night with 2. Cruz ends his night with 2. Nickerson ends his night with 3 points. If we switch sides of the ball going to Leominster, first we've got team totals coming up first. Again, a 15-point victory for the Blue Devils, 24 rebounds, 3 steals, 19 turnovers. They shot 8 of 14 from the line. That's 57%. Individual notable statistics for your Leominster Blue Devils. Viola ends his night with 7. Moisen with 6. Asias with 2 points. Dada ends his night with a team-high 24 points. Carr ends his night with 2. And House ends his night with 4 points. But again, it's that 15-point differential that will be the name of the game tonight for the Blue Devils.
And that will end up being the conversation piece, so to speak, tonight. And of course, I mean, in the end, we had kind of alluded to this during the regulation action, Kate, and that was that whichever team won tonight, in this case Leominster, to pick up their 4th win on the season, the story is you got another win, you pick up the points, you move on. But other than that, I guess you'd just rather an ugly win than, as Bill Thomas said, a pretty loss.
Yeah, I think you've seen here Coach Crutchfield has let his team out of the locker room fairly quickly. I think it's one of those things, not much to say about that. We're going to have to make some adjustments. The defense was good. Fouls, nobody was getting into trouble. First half intensity was pretty darn good, but Shrewsbury looked like the better team for the vast majority of the first half. Dada is able to eke out 24 in order to carry you across this finish line, but that's not going to get done when you go up against Eastern Mass talent in the playoffs. And so you're hoping that Leominster takes, a win like this. Yes, thank you very much. We'll take it. We need to move on. And then they need to start playing better basketball, especially on the offensive end as they move things forward.
And that is definitely the story for sure, as they are definitely in a need of finding themselves some better basketball. I mean, Kate, you've got games ahead here. It's not like it's going to get any easier. Leominster, we already allude next week in the 2 broadcasts we have between RFM and the K-Zone. Burlington on Wednesday, an Eastern Mass team, something you've been building into your schedule, and finally you're going to get to play one, fingers crossed, as the other games have fallen off the schedule because of COVID protocols. And then you end the week with Coach Gibbons and the Wachusett Mountaineers inside the gym at Leominster High School. So 2 home games, 2 exciting games to come. An earlier meeting between Leominster and Wachusett came before the COVID pause, before the holiday, back on Friday, December 17th. It was a 54-52 Wachusett win on home floor. The action that we saw here tonight, that's not going to get it done against Burlington or Wachusett next week.
No, sir, it is not. Like we said, they're going to need to start playing better basketball, especially on the offensive end. I mean, the hope is you want to be playing your best basketball at the beginning of February. So, I mean, a win like this, it's not as if you need to really dwell on it, because you have the time in front of you in your schedule to be able to just take it, chalk it up, move along, make some adjustments. And the thing is, Coach Crutchfield is an educator. Okay, we talk about social emotional fragility right now with regard to all students and all student athletes. And I'm certainly not saying anything about these students athletes is fragile, but you are asking them and all student athletes across the board to be more flexible than at any point in time, over these last several years. And the grind that this pandemic has caused, the fraying of people's, emotions, of their schedules, of their home lives, of their school lives, of everything that's going on. It's one of those things where, as an educator, as a coach, I think Coach Grutchfield probably takes these things. I mean, sending his players out of the locker room as quickly as he has tonight kind of is indicative to me of, keeping things into perspective. Okay. Last year,
going into the long weekend here.
Going into the long
weekend,
reset, move along. We were able to, eke out a win. And we're just not going to dwell on it, to be perfectly candid with you. And so it's one of those situations where you're just happy you got the W and you can just move on.
And sometimes that is what it takes, is that ability to kind of have a short memory, forget how things had developed, and move forward from there. Bill Thomas and I talked about it a little bit in the pregame, Kate, and that truly was this kind of idea that, players, when they go through their routine, they start in the morning, they go to class. That's 6 hours of school, right? You get through that 6 hours of school, you get out in the afternoon, you have some study all time, you have some travel time, you get into the the game action, and the hope is that your enthusiasm peaks when you reach 7 o'clock, and then you're ready to go when the game comes. Well, right now, as we were saying, you don't know if that game is still going to be on. It literally, like, every day is like an outdoor rain game in the spring. You never know if the game is actually going to happen.
And I will say that.
Will there be a bus? Will there be players?
Will there be a bus
there's
driver?
so many questions, right?
Will all my friends be on the bus with me? Will my coach be on the bus with me?
Right. And so before I let you have this one, I'll add just the one more point, is that how many times can you ask student athletes to build that energy and then it just pops with no payoff getting to play that game at the end?
And I will say, the comparison to spring sports, there was nothing, having been a 3-sport athlete at the high school level, in the fall and in the winter, and even though the weather is tricky in the winter, you always knew there weren't like rainouts in the fall.
Right. Okay,
not mind you, I played an indoor sport in the fall.
Sure.
But there weren't
there were no rainouts.
Not a lot of rainouts in the fall. Okay, in the winter, unless it was a snowstorm and school was called out, not a lot of weather impacting a ton going on. So there was that regimented aspect. I will say, as a spring outdoor athlete, every single year, that emotional build-up and letdown, I can't tell you what it's like to be like getting ready for a game day and in the middle of school, and then all of a sudden at noontime the game's called out. You're ruined. You're ruined for the rest of the day. And these student athletes and these coaching staffs and all of these people have been going through this just over and over and over again. And it's incredibly just insane to me, asking them to, to answer the call constantly. I'm going to let you coach, and you are going to go down there.
Indeed we
are.
are.
I'm just going to soft shoe here for a minute. We're going to transition Coach and Todd down.
Yes.
Coach is now running away.
As we continue on.
Nope, Coach is running away.
He's going to run back up to the locker room for 1 second while we get set.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Let's take a break here on the radio side of things. Good conversation here in the postgame. 49-34, Leominster with a win here on the K-Zone Game of the Week. We're going to step aside for 1 second. Leominster High School head coach Kevin Grutchfield joins us here at our courtside broadcast position when we continue. This is the K-Zone Game of the Week here on RFM.
And we welcome you back inside the friendly confines of the wooden gym here at Leominster High School. We are in the midst of our post-game action right now, just waiting for Coach Kevin Grutchfield to return. We had him, and like a flash, he was gone. He will be right back. But as always, your 2022 K-Zone Winter Game of the Week is brought to you by a litany of very generous sponsors. Tonight, Bolton Orchards. Get fresh every day in Bolton at the junctions of Route 110 and 117. Take the short drive today to Bolton Orchards. It's also brought to you by Builders Surplus, a great selection of first quality building materials at prices you will love. Online at builders-surplus.com. You know what you need. Get it at Builders Surplus for less. Once again, just kind of recapping what it was that we witnessed tonight. Kind of a lackluster performance on both sides of the ball for all teams in question, but Leominster able to eke out a 15-point victory on the shoulders of a 22-point team-high performance by Justin Dada. Again, 6 of 8 on his own from the line tonight was Dada, and he accounted for 24 of Leominster's 49 points in this one. Right now, we talked about it, Leominster, Todd, needing to diversify their point scoring. They did have contributions from 6 different Blue Devils tonight on the score sheet, but had it not been for Dada, especially with the fact that he had 24 points, he had 12 at the half. He doubled that up in the second half. Without his contributions, this Leominster Blue Devils team needing a lot of help on offense.
Yeah, and players only popped in and really delivered at, certain points. Each person kind of had their own flash and flare and moment where perhaps they were a part of the action or they were able to deliver at any one point in time. And that's going to be an overall concern that they're going to be looking at it as we advance forward through the action ahead. You want to be able to rely on your offense. You need to be able to rely on your offense and rely on some consistency. And unfortunately, when you don't have consistency with your pregame activities or your build-up to the game, like we were talking about before the break, all of a sudden you get yourself into a very difficult situation on the floor. And it seemed like at points, the first half of action, everybody came out of the chute hot and heavy, and then all of a sudden, when you got to the second half, there were a lot of cement legs on both sides of the floor.
And you do mention that as well. You're talking about cement legs. The other thing with the herky-jerky nature of what's going on is just conditioning as well. So that becomes a question for everybody as well. So what we're gonna do is we're lining everybody up here. Everybody's gonna play nice down there, and we are going to now have our post-game conversation between Todd and Coach, brought to you by Central Communication System. The experts at Central Communication Systems, the key provider for thousands of businesses around New England since 1991. Learn more at central-inc.com. And now we have Todd and Coach down courtside for their post-game interview. Todd?
Thanks, Kate. Appreciate it. Joined now by Leominster High School head coach Kevin Grutchfield. Coach, 49-34 is the win tonight. First half of action was exciting. It was end-to-end. There was a lot of turnovers in the action as the ball went up and down the floor. And then it seemed like halftime hit and the air just went out of this building. It didn't matter what color uniform you were wearing. The action just seemingly ceased to exist. Yep. And it kind of felt like a heavyweight fight. Both guys punched themselves in the early rounds. They just punched themselves right out. And then you were kind of just laying on each other to get through the back half of the second half of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was not a great basketball game in terms of execution and the way both teams played. But they really came out, Shrewsbury, with a lot of energy in that first quarter. And we could tell from the start this was kind of a big game for them. They were on a little bit of a skid, and I knew they were going to give us their A game. They were bigger than I thought. They were more athletic. But we sort of just, I told my guys, we just got to weather the storm here. We weren't shooting great, as you could see. And we got to kind of rely on our defense to get some turnovers, maybe get some quick buckets. But it was a struggle. Most of the night it was a struggle to score.
And there's no question that both teams certainly felt it at different points in the action. We've been having kind of an ongoing conversation on the broadcast tonight about the consistency of inconsistency, which is pretty much what you all have been dealing with now going on a couple of years. But it feels like now in particular, as you guys have been going through this season where it's, go to school 6 hours a day, then usually you get into your, after school activity, get either into practice or you get ready to travel to go to your game, or maybe your game's at home, you've got a study hall beforehand. However that thing may go, most days prior to this, unless school was snowed out in the winter, you pretty much knew reliably where you were going to be at each kind of marker throughout the day. This year, you don't know if you're going to have players that are available to play. Right. You don't know if the game's going to play. Is there a bus? Is there a bus driver? I mean, we went down the litany of lists, and this is about the third time we've done it. I mean, how do you and how many times, has kind of been our ongoing question here, how many times can you ask athletes to go through that point where they're trying to peak for 7 o'clock's tip-off, and then you just get that letdown of energy?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the inconsistency is it's a big deal for these kids that are 16, 17 years old. You know, they thrive on routine. They thrive on the practice time the same, and in getting our games in on Tuesdays and Fridays. And we've had everything but that. You know, talking to all the coaches, you know, in the region, it's everybody's dealing with the same issues. You know, there's a week off here, some are off 2 weeks. Then their athletic director will call and say, well, you're playing tomorrow night. Well, I haven't practiced in 2 weeks. Well, you're playing tomorrow night. So it's that kind of thing, you know. And but we're all sort of in the same boat. So it's going to be now survival of the fittest, who can stay healthy, who can avoid injuries, you know. And then the scheduling is tough because, as you know, we're playing a lot of teams we don't usually play.
Sure.
And so that's a whole other issue. So, but on the bright side, these kids are so psyched to be playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They know that it could be taken away. So I think they kind of treasure that experience more than they would usually.
And that is certainly good to know that they appreciate it along the way as well. You know, last year when, of course, the schedule was very much regionalized, there was only 10 games you were going to play, and then there was a little postseason that kind of occurred at the tail end of that. In some ways, do you wish maybe that the goal wasn't to try to get to 20-game schedules this year and statewide playoffs and all the other craziness that is going to ensue over the next couple of months, that maybe it scaled back a few games would have made things a little easier and maybe made it a little more maneuverable?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm on that same wavelength that you're talking about. I would rather less games, more practice, you know, have that built-in flexibility in the schedule so we can sort of take on whatever comes at us, you know. And then it's going to be really interesting now in another 4 weeks when now everybody's trying to get into their postseason tournament, and there's a lot of tournaments, February vacation. Are those even going to happen? What is that going to mean for seeding? You know, is the MIA going to step up and put some sort of protocol in place? So there's just, it's sort of like nobody really knows how this is going to transpire, so we just got to take it one game at a time.
And it's going to be, you know, you wonder what's going to come at you next week, schedule permitting.
Yep.
It's Burlington on Wednesday, an Eastern Mass team of great quality, and then Wachusett to wrap up the week, who you know is going to be an important game for both schools there, a team you lost to by 2.
Yep.
As you kind of look ahead to next week, what can you set up between that Burlington game and then on into Wachusett?
Yeah, so and now let's factor in the big snowstorm that's coming.
Yes.
So when or if am I going to be able to practice
Correct.
before Wednesday?
Yep.
You know, and then Burlington is a very, very good team. They shoot the ball real well. If we play like we did tonight, it's not going to go well for us. So we've got to pick up our game. And then Wachusett, you know, probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the area. So it's a big week for us. So can we practice? Can we stay healthy? We take it one day at a time.
We said it on the broadcast, Coach. You'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. So a win is a win is
Yeah.
a win. Congratulations on being 4-1. We'll see you for both games next week.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Leominster High School
I
head
appreciate
coach Kevin Grudgefield with us courtside here as we continue on the K-Zone and RFM. Kate, I'll toss it back up to you.
Oh, that's fun for me. Fantastic. Alrighty. And we're going to give you a couple of more sponsorship reads here. This game of the week brought to you by Colonial Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. The team at Colonial Hudson is here to make your new or used car purchase or lease stress-free. Online at colonialdodgechryslerjeep.com. Also brought to you tonight by Great Road Farm and Garden. Get your gardening needs met locally at Great Road Farm and Garden on Great Road in Littleton. And one last one, Liberty Supply Inc., Liberty Supply Incorporated service the way it used to be. And we are going to welcome back Todd Robbins here to the broadcast booth for our post game. We're also going to welcome back our intrepid Bill Thomas as well. We've changed seats. I've got a different headset on. I am the captain now.
Indeed.
I am the captain
Indeed,
now.
you are.
You'll become the on-air talent.
Does that
Not
mean
that
I
you
get
weren't
to,
before.
Does that mean I get to waltz in?
Yes.
Oh, now the barbs. I'm feeling a lot of barbs
Look
get
at you
thrown
with
here
the levels. I love
at
it.
the courtside broadcast
You know what
position.
it is? It's this. It's
Oh, thank
it's
you.
That
Is
over
that
there.
okay? Thank
and then
you.
This, yeah.
I
there we go.
appreciate that. All right.
Life
This
is
is what
better.
happens when you play musical headsets.
Life is
Things
better.
don't quite always go the way that you imagine. But it was a 49-34 Leominster win tonight over Shrewsbury. And Kate, you've got something you want to add
I'm
here.
the captain, so
I was gonna
just
say.
step aside from me.
Hi, Kate.
Both Billy and Todd, one of the things we know what type of expectations Coach Crutchfield has for his team. But it seems like, not to toot our own horn, but, horn, toot,
Toot, toot. Yeah, absolutely.
we have the pulse of what's going on with the coaching staff, with this team. This is about a situation of survival for them and essentially not being able to dwell. In a normal, quote-unquote, normal year, a few years ago,
What does that
you
mean?
would have seen Coach Crutchfield up there with that team for an extensive
Absolutely.
post-game conversation. It would have been brutal. It would have been honest. It would have been painful. Right now, kudos to this coaching staff. Kudos to all of the coaches, especially. And this is why, in my estimation, and I know you and I talk about this, how imperative it is to have educator coaches, people that are both in the building or people that are aware of the educational landscape. Because if you're not in these buildings, it's so hard to understand how hard it is for these students, these kids, because they're all of our kids.
Absolutely.
It's so hard for them to get through just a day. To get through a day. And so, we talk about it in the educational realm, the social emotional learning and the social emotional aspects of things. And kudos to Coach Crutchfield. I was worried, how long is this one going to be? He got them in and out of that locker room. And think, a varsity coach going up against an Eastern Mass team in just a few days, and in his mind, this might be the only time he gets to talk to those players before that game, and he took that opportunity not to sit there and go, okay, I've got to get everything in with them. He took it and said, brush it off, come back, don't know when I'll see you next. We got a game on Wednesday against Burlington. We better be ready to go. Because right now, it's just too much to go whole hog and just pound at a team.
How about weather watching for practice?
Yeah, I know.
mean, usually in the winter season,
Everything
it's such
going
like
on.
there's actually like dog days of winter. Usually,
Yeah.
to pull the baseball reference from the summertime, like they're actually having to weather watch on whether they can have a practice or not in order to be prepared before that game coming up next week. I mean, that is just giving you a sign of the time and where we are. Go ahead, Bill Thomas.
Just to expand a little bit on your thought, Kate. I heard the coach's comments a little bit, and what he said was pretty telling. The kids are just happy to be playing.
Yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
happy to be together and to have that camaraderie that they've been missing and any opportunity to practice. And I thought the coach really approached the subject in the post-game talk. Not that we were up there, but we know sometimes we don't see the coach come out 15, 20
Right.
minutes, I'm sure everything he had to say was positive, although the game was ugly. Like you said, it's better to win ugly than lose pretty. But his comments about the kids are just happy to be together and to be playing, and I'm sure he doesn't want to rain on that parade.
Yeah.
It's really about the kids, and
You're gonna have
when they
flat
win,
nights.
But how can you find fault with the win, even though you got a tough week next week?
And you have seen him now for 2 seasons consistently light up when he talks
Oh,
about
yeah.
that. He
Yes.
lights up. And so he understands
He's
how
enjoying
precious
it,
this
too.
is. He's enjoying himself. And he knows how important this is.
Because he missed it as much as the kids
Yeah.
did. It's not just about the kids. It's
Yep.
really some adults are just grown-up
Precious.
kids.
Precious.
And just
It's all a
enjoy
part.
that interaction.
Never will he take it for
and
granted.
being an educator in the school and seeing the kids not just at practice or pressing on them about games and about practicing, I think it leads a different type of aura to the atmosphere. You really have a grasp of what the kids are going through, not just because they're missing sports, but on the whole school experience.
Our great audience at the K-Zone was missing the game of the week all last year, and now it is back. First night of game of the week in the books here from Leominster High School tonight. Leominster, a 49-34 victor tonight over Shrewsbury in a hard-fought battle of attrition. Leominster improves to 4-1. Shrewsbury falls to 1-4. For both of our audiences on the K-Zone Game of the Week and on RFM, action coming up next week on RFM. It's RFM basketball coming up on Wednesday. That's January the 19th. It's a battle of devils. It's the Leominster Blue Devils and the Burlington Red Devils. That action right here on RFM. It's facebook.com/media rivalry. 6:45 is the countdown to tip-off. 7 o'clock is our tip-off action right here inside the gym at Leominster High School. Facebook.com/media rivalry for Leominster and Burlington. Coming up next week, exclusively here on RFM. And then we move on to our next K-Zone Game of the Week. It's also here on RFM. That's next Friday night, January the 21st. Countdown to tip-off is at 6:35 here on AM 1280 and 105.3 FM. RFM and Leominster TV will join us a little while after that, and a 7 o'clock tip-off for our next K-Zone Game of the Week. Next Friday night, it's Leominster and Wachusett in a battle that is always exciting. It was a 2-point basketball game back on December 17th. 54-52. We'll go back to my prize fight analogy here. I just have to imagine this is going to be another heavyweight slugfest with two teams that are just going to swing and swing and swing, and then when they are out of gas, they're just going to try to clutch and grab to get their way to the final bell.
I think you hit it on the head, Todd. I'm really looking forward to this rematch. And, the teams have got into a little bit of a rhythm, both of them. And, we'll have to see. I'm sure we're going to have a great basketball game when they meet up next week.
And that action is to come as well. We thank you all so very much for joining us here tonight on the K-Zone Game of the Week and joining us via RFM. We thank you so much for being a part of the action tonight. For DJ Derek Drown back at Master Control, pushing the buttons and making the magic happen. For Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, I am Todd Robbins, saying thank you so very much for joining us. And until next week, and we continue on the Game of the Week on the trail this winter toward the Winter State Championship. We say, so long, everybody.